All right. So arbitrary, rushed, mercurial, something that's on a whim, something that's capricious, bad move by the WNBA. This isn't what you're supposed to do. And you're giving in because you believe we don't need her anymore. We can just ride this thing out. All we need is Caitlin and someone who will massage these players. That's it. Relationships, massage these players, and we don't need you. Just bring in someone who been to these players and call them whenever they have a sore ankle, call them whenever they prick their finger, okay? And we're good with Caitlin. That's all we need. All we need is Caitlin and someone who's going to rub dirt on it with these players. Whenever these players have any little thing wrong, Cathy doesn't call them. Cathy doesn't say, I heard that you sneezed at a game. Is there anything I could recommend? Is there a doctor I can get you in contact with to take care of that little sniffle? If you read this article, it's so pathetic. It is so pathetic. These are sensitive, fragile people, you guys, and they can't say anything about her business. So I swear to God, this has nothing to do with the business side of it. This is all about that Cathy Engelbert does not recommend a doctor for players every time they sneeze. It's pathetic. It's absolutely pathetic. But the truth of the matter is this, is that they want Cathy Engelbert gone because they feel that with her being booed all of the time, and the fact that she doesn't just bend and bow to these players, it's just a bad look for the league. So we don't care about your business. We're worried about a certain look. We're worried how other people are looking at us on the outside, even though business is going great. And business was going great before 2024. Let me just say this. I promise you this, the WNBA will fall without Cathy Engelbert. It's going to be bad. It's going to be real bad. Now, in the article, they're saying once you get towards the bottom that they're kind of worried about that. And so they're literally saying there's no one in the league office who is ready to take that job just yet, and that they have to be careful. Okay. All this is about, you guys, is that they want someone who's going to bend to these players. They're saying that they contacted like one owner or something, and one of the owners are speaking out against Cathy Engelbert, and it's most likely Renee Montgomery. Okay, it's nine times out of 10, it's Renee Montgomery. Okay, and so like that's what that is. Roger Goodell is the most hated commissioner. And Roger Goodell gets booed louder than Cathy Engelbert no matter wherever he goes at the NFL draft. I don't care. Roger Goodell is always booed. But the owners refuse to let him go because he's too good for business. He works for the owners. He doesn't work for the players. So players have their reps. Okay? They have their reps. They have their NFLPA presidents and all of that. So Roger's job is to work for the owner, which is best for the league. And the NFLPA's president is to work for the NFLPA. It's the same thing with Adam Silver in the NBA, and then whomever is in charge of the NBPA. Okay? And it's the exact same thing here with this situation. Cathy Engelbert works for the owners. She doesn't work for the players. Well, the players don't like that Cathy isn't there for their every call. Okay? And they don't like it. And then you have certain people in executive positions where they don't like it. And all this is about is aesthetics. This is about something that's on the surface. This is about something that's superficial. This is about a look. This isn't about what drives the vehicle. This isn't about the engine. This is about a look. This is about a paint job. This is about exterior. It is immature. It is stupid. And you can't let go of someone like this who is so great for business. Without Cathy Engelbert, the WNBA doesn't exist anymore. There is no league for Caitlin Clark to join because the league would have been dead. She saved this league when Nneka Ogwumike and the players were willing to kill the league. She even saved this league when the owners were willing to kill the league. Okay? The owners didn't want to give in to the players' demands of saying, well, we know that this is a 32-game season and you only want to pay us. I think they were only playing like 18 games or maybe 20-something games the COVID year. The players wanted to receive their full salaries as if it was a 32-game season. And the owners are saying, well, you're not playing 32 games. So we're not going to give you all of these paychecks for 32 games. And the players are saying, if you don't give us 32 games worth of paychecks, even though we're not playing 32 games, we won't play. Oh, and by the way, if you don't let us dedicate this season to Breonna Taylor and Ahmaud Arbery and Sandra Bland and the Say Her Name campaign, we won't play. And so Cathy went and told the players, this league is bleeding. It is totally drowning in the red. There is no way that this league will survive past this season if we don't play this year. It's impossible. Cathy is showing them the numbers. They're dead in the water, y'all. Dead in the water. And the players said, we don't care. I'm not making this up. That's literally in 2 different documentaries. Okay, the 144 documentary and the Dream documentary on Prime Video. Okay, the players said, we don't care, Cathy. Give us a full season's worth of paychecks and let us dedicate this season to the Say Her Name campaign, or we're not playing. We'll murder this league. We don't give a damn because we make a lot of money overseas, so it really don't matter to us. And the majority of us never cared about this league. A lot of us never even watched this league. We watched the NBA. So we have no respect for the history of this league anyway. This is what they were willing to do to Cathy Engelbert on her first year on the job. That they were ready to kill something she literally just started. She just got hired. Now, these players are also saying that. Now, I wanted to say this real quick before I move on. The owners were willing to say, screw this league. We're not giving these players a full season's worth of paychecks because they're not playing a full season. Why should we're already in the red. Why should we give them all of this extra money? How does that benefit us? This isn't a charity. Okay. And so Cathy had to convince the owners. This is a pandemic. This is bad. Plus, racial tensions are high in America with all of these black people getting beat up by cops or killed by cops. So racial tensions are high. It's a pandemic. Okay, yes, should we be giving them a full season's worth of paychecks? No, we shouldn't. But this is a necessary sacrifice if you really want to save this league and if you really believe in the future of this league. Okay, because it's clear that the only reason why you're sticking with this league because you're all a bunch of venture capitalists. Okay, so you're investing in the future of this league. You believe at some point this is going to pay off and you're going to get your money back and double and triple. Okay, so if some of you truly believe that that you're a bunch of venture capitalists and you're investing in the future of this league and at some point this league is going to pay off, this will be a great property. If that's what you believe, then let's stick with it and let's take this necessary loss. Okay. And that's what it was. So the owners was like, you know what? Racial tensions are high. It's kind of crazy out there in the real world. Plus it's COVID. It's a pandemic. People are dying. You know what, Cathy, you're right. And so Cathy said, this is what we're going to do. We're going to keep the season going. We're going to give you women a full season's worth of paychecks, even though you're not playing a full season and we really can't afford it. We're still going to give that to you anyway. Oh, and by the way, you can't dedicate this season to the Say Her Name campaign. But here's the deal. We're going to be in Bradenton, Florida at IMG Academy in a bubble, which all other leagues who wanted to continue modeled after. We're going to create a bubble and you women are going to be tested multiple times a week, sometimes twice a day. You're going to live here. All right. And that's the way this is. And we're going to play these games. The only people who can show up to these games are family and friends. And everyone has to wear a mask and sit 6 feet apart. And they also have to be tested for COVID and things like that. And so that's what Cathy had to do. So, well, in the bubble, they called the wubble, in the bubble, there's a lot of players who didn't like being away from family and friends. And so you had several players quit on their teams. They didn't want to play anymore. So they left the bubble. It was what it was. Players were complaining that they didn't want to get tested multiple times a week. I was just tested yesterday, or I was tested 2 days ago. Why am I being tested today? Because it's freaking COVID. That's why. And we don't know, people are dying. We don't know what the hell is happening. You're complaining that you're getting tested. It's ridiculous. And other players just wanted to be home. They wanted to go home. They didn't want to be. Cathy was dealing with a lot. Then you had players, which I called out on one of my older channels. And I called it out. And there were players who didn't want to play these games. They were tired. They didn't want to hoop. And so they used, what was the guy? The Jacob Blake, this black dude who got shot in the back several times by the cops when he was getting in his car. And they shot, I think his name was Jacob Blake. And so they used that moment. I swear, it's cold-blooded that I'm saying this, but I called it out in real time when it happened. They use that person's pain, his trauma, that terrible experience to get out of playing a game, because up to that point, these players were complaining that they just needed a break. They're tired. They need a break. They need a break. And here comes Jacob Blake getting shot in the back, and that was their moment to not play basketball. Where you had certain players didn't like that. They wanted to hoop because they wanted to get that paycheck. Okay? They wanted to get that paycheck. And ESPN is like, wait a second, you got to play. You have to play. Like, your games are scheduled. We've already ran ads. We've already promoted this game. You have to play. Cathy is like, ladies, what are we doing? The league is like, what are we doing? And then you had other players speaking out about it, like, what are we doing here? And so then they had to have a meeting. They had a meeting and a team meeting. All of the players came together with Wnba and everyone on the executive committee. Lasia Clarendon, Natalie Achanwa, you name it. And Courtney Williams speaks up and she says, I came here to get a paycheck. I came here to dribble a ball and to get a check. I got family. I got people who eat off of me. She said, we can kumbaya all day, all night, but at some point we got to come up with a solution because I came here to get a check. I came here to dribble a ball. And the camera panned to a lot of other players and they were like shaking their head like, damn, we want to play. Because the way the WNBA was saying it was like, yeah, we'll give you a full season's worth of paychecks, but that's if you're playing these games. Or if you're not playing these games, we're just not going to give you this free money like that. Okay? So that's why certain players is like, damn, like, we want to hoop. There's something else we could do for Jacob Blake, but we want to hoop. But you had other players, I swear to God, these are players in leadership positions. Up to Jacob Blake getting shot, they were whining and complaining about playing too many games. Even though it was a shortened season, condensed, but a shortened season, they were whining and complaining. And that was their moment to get out of playing a game. And they used someone's attempted murder to use that to get out of playing a game. That's going to sound cold-blooded, but I swear to God, it's the truth. Okay, right? And what was wild about it was a lot of fans were happy to see Kennedy Carter again. She was back from injury. She had the Atlanta Dream on a trajectory to make the playoffs, and she was going to win Rookie of the Year. So this will be Kennedy Carter's game back. This will be Courtney Williams' game because she's with the Atlanta Dream and Kennedy and all of that. And you had several players who wanted to play. And so they had a meeting and they decided to not play. And they reached out to ESPN and Cathy was able to reach out to ESPN and Cathy said, essentially, they're committed to doing something. Let them speak out and say something. And they also won't play. And so the ESPN was like, you know what? It is what it is. We're dealing with COVID. Racial tensions are high. This guy just got shot in the back like 7 times. Okay, you don't have to play. But what you will do is do us a solid. Because we already promoted this game. We already had advertisers and sponsors, so you got to give us something. And so the players agreed that, oh, this is great. We don't have to play. Yay. And we can also speak out against police brutality. And so they all came together, and ESPN broadcasted, and they're wearing shirts with like gunshots, I guess on the back of the shirt or something like that. And then it was like they spoke out against these injustices and all of this other stuff, right? So ESPN was able to get something out of it. They were able to get something out of it. The players were able to not play a game because they were tired. And then they were also able to speak out on that. And so like, that's what happened. This is what Cathy Engelbert was dealing with, y'all. This is what she was. Do you guys know that the Los Angeles Sparks was getting kicked out of the league and Magic Johnson had to save him, and his partners with the Dodgers had to purchase the LA Sparks? This is how bad it was. This is what Cathy, do you guys know that at one point in time, the WNBA only had one person in charge of marketing and social media? Just one person, y'all. One. That's what Cathy walked into. That's what, do you know, especially if you read this article, that there was only 12 people in the league office at the time, just 12? And now there's over 80? This is what Cathy Engelbert was dealing with, y'all. This is what she was dealing with. That's why she had to raise that $75 million. Now, right now, $75 million is a small number, but at the time, that was a huge number. And she used that number to hire more people in the leagues, in the league office. Instead of 12, now there's over 80. She used that money to help build the app, to make the app better, to help build up their website, to make that better, to hire more people in charge of marketing and social media and all of these things, okay? And also use that capital to tell stories, to put out ads, to tell stories around these players so she could build up these players so you can know these players. That's what she did, y'all. That's why she used that $75 million, okay? Seems small now, but it was huge at the time, and it really did help this league out. And so what happened? Year over year growth since she was hired until the end of 2023. Significant growth, you guys. Significant growth. That's what she did. And then here comes Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese, and they came into this league, and it was just boom. Exponential growth, expedited, microwave, hyper growth, rushed. That's what happened. Okay. And so you say, well, this is what Cathy Engelbert did. She brought the league. The league was literally dead in the water, and Cathy Engelbert gave the league CPR. And the league was able to cough up the water as they started to breathe. And Cathy got him into the hospital. Okay. All right. And they were on the road to recovery. And then here comes Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese. And then the league was touched by, no pun intended, by an angel. There may be a dark angel, two evil angels, but the league was touched by an angel. And boom, miraculously, the league is on its feet. It's running, it's jumping, it's bouncing, it's thriving. Okay. And so now that the league is on its feet, is running, jumping, and bouncing and thriving, now you want to get rid of the woman who pulled them out of the pool and gave them CPR and rushed them to the hospital and allowed this league to actually survive. And then these two angels came in, and now the league is thriving. And you're ready to get rid of the woman who resuscitated, who gave this league CPR. Are you crazy? Are you crazy? And why? Because some disgruntled player named Napheesa Collier, who was pissed off and was worried that Cathy Engelbert and the owners, especially Cathy, would not do a solid for her husband and Unrivaled. They all feared, and I'm the first to report on this, and then the truth came out. They all feared that there would be an exclusivity clause in a CBA that would prevent players who are signed in the WNBA by WNBA teams for playing in other leagues. And so they tried to hurry up and get Cathy Engelbert removed from the league so they can get someone in willing to do business with Unrivaled and these other leagues. These are outside forces, you guys, wanting Cathy removed just in case there's some exclusivity clause. And so Napheesa went during the WNBA Super Bowl. The finals are the WNBA Super Bowl. So instead of Napheesa Collier giving her exit speech a week before that, she decided to do it, or a day before, 2 days, whatever, before Napheesa decided to do that during the WNBA, right at the WNBA finals. That's the WNBA Super Bowl. And then she went on and put out these unfounded, baseless allegations, accusations about Cathy Engelbert, and they were all lies. And she was libelous. Cathy should have sued her, but she didn't. Cathy then has to come out and say, I never said that. I never said that. And she was like, don't you realize that I got daughters and my daughters are looking at me, my daughters are mad and they're sad? Cathy said, I never said that. Plus my comments were misrepresented. I never said those. She said, no, I never said that. Okay, so Napheesa, where's your proof? Where's the audio? Where's the video? Okay, you lied. And you stuck with that lie. And so what happened is that I told you what God would do to Napheesa, right? I told you. When Napheesa, leading up to that speech, I told you guys, I said, God is going to punish Napheesa Collier. Everything she was doing before the end of the season was just nasty. All of these digs, all of these shots at Cathy in the league, trying to tear this league down from the inside. An absolute Trojan horse. So what happened? She gets blown up by Alyssa Thomas and her leg is essentially shattered and she's done. She's done. She's finished. They're pissed. They're upset. And then she says, you know what? I'm going to pay you back. I'm going to ruin your special moment. I'm going to ruin your Super Bowl, Cathy. I'm going to ruin it for everyone. And I'm going to lie about you. And I'm going to lie and say, and also I know for a fact, if I put this out, that all of Caitlin Clark fans and Angel Reese fans will just love this and eat this up. So they're going to have my back. And then perhaps maybe this would be a way that I could lure Caitlin Clark to play in Unrivaled. This would be great. This is a win-win, right, Alex, her husband? So if you listen to that speech, she brings up Alex. She references Alex ad nauseum all of the time. And she's doing a juxtaposition, a comparison, a contrast. Alex, Cathy, Alex, Cathy, Alex, Cathy, trying to make you and potential investors to look at Unrivaled as this great property where you would want to invest in. And we don't need Cathy. Cathy is a terrible person. Look at my husband. Look at Cathy. Look at my husband. Cathy said this about Caitlin. And Caitlin was supposed to be like, ooh, Napheesa, thank you for bringing it up to me. I hate you, Cathy. You know what? I'm going to play an Unrivaled and give you all of this money, Napheesa and Alex. And Caitlin was like, no, like, because remember Chick, you and Chelsea Gray and Diana Taurasi and Brittany Griner and the rest of the women who were the leaders of Team USA, along with Dawn Staley and Cheryl Reeve, along with Cheryl Reeve, went to the Olympic body selection committee and said that we don't want Caitlin Clark playing on Team USA in the Olympics because we feel that she would hurt our chances of winning gold because of her fans. Okay? And so Dawn Staley and Jenna Rosati and the other members of the selection committee decided to freeze out Caitlin Clark and didn't let her play because, read the article in USA Today, leaders of Team USA women's basketball, along with a coach, and we know that coach was Cheryl Reeve because she was taking shots at Caitlin Clark earlier in the season, okay, went to Jenna Rosati and Dawn Staley and the other members of the selection committee and said, we don't want Caitlin Clark because we feel that her and her fans would be a distraction. She can potentially hurt our chances of winning gold. Okay, so Caitlin said, I never forgot about that. I didn't forget that, Napheesa. I didn't forget that Chelsea Gray and all of you women who are now a part of Unrivaled. I didn't forget that. No, I'm not going to join Unrivaled and give you all of this money. It's not happening. That's what happened, y'all. So this woman, Cathy Engelbert, is being attacked. And then also, let me bring you back earlier. Let's go back to 2019. Let's go back to 2020 when these players really wanted to make Cathy look bad because they were mad that the first ever commissioner of the WNBA was a white woman. So that's why no one reached out to Cathy, not on social media, nowhere, to congratulate this woman, ladies and gentlemen, who is now the first ever commissioner of the WNBA. We've only had presidents. We've never had a commissioner. So this is historic. This is monumental. This is something that's never happened. Not Elena Delle Donne. In this article you read that, she didn't come to something that where Elena Delle Donne was there and Candace Parker. Well, Candace Parker and Elena Delle Donne never went on social media, never did anything to say, hey, congratulations, Cathy Engelbert, welcome to the W, first ever commissioner. No one ever did that. No one ever did anything like that for Cathy. Not Breonna Stewart, no one. No one welcomed Cathy into this league when she first became commissioner. No one did that. Okay, so all of this is them finally pushing out Cathy Engelbert. Now, this is all about race at this point. This is black women and some inconsiderate white women pushing out Cathy Engelbert, right? Based off of race and based off of personal feelings, emotion, okay? Immaturity, being callow, being little kids. There is nothing truly adult about this. Nothing at all. This is based on race. This is payback for you hiring a white woman to be the first ever commissioner. Okay? This is payback or me trying to hurt you to sort of prevent you from hurting my husband's league because we believed there was going to be an exclusivity clause and we wanted to hurry up and get out front on that and hurt your image. And hopefully there would be enough pressure from the outside that it would remove you from this league, and then we can get a commissioner in this league willing to do business with Unrivaled. And so we're going to bring out this biracial, cute little chick in front of the camera and have her to spew all of these allegations. And everyone jumped on it. Everyone believed it. Everyone believed it until they start seeing the true colors of Napheesa. They start seeing some of the business practices. They start seeing how practically everyone on the executive committee is a part of Unrivaled. They noticed that Renee Montgomery is an investor in Unrivaled. They noticed that Candace Parker is an investor. They started to notice these things and they said, oh, wait a second. This whole situation is compromised. Wow. And then you started to see everything turn and shift back towards Cathy. Cathy was clearly the victim in all of this. And don't ever let these people put a negative connotation on victim. Don't ever let them do that. That is a way the devil can get away with raping and molesting and hurting people and say, if you complain, you're a victim and being a victim is bad. So that you can just accept the rape, the molestation, and the poor treatment. Don't ever let Jason Whitlock and these other people tell you that that you should never admit that you're a victim. No. The victims are real. Okay. And Cathy was a victim in all of this. Right. And victims are supposed to do something about it to make change. And so Cathy decided to stand strong. They thought Cathy was going to fold because many of them, like one of a local broadcaster here, a local beat writer here, didn't know that Cathy plays sports. She was like, I think the league should fire Cathy. Besides, they should hire a commissioner who actually played a sport. This is a woman saying this, by the way. Cathy is in a hall. She's a lacrosse Hall of Famer. Okay. She's in a Hall of Fame for Lehigh. She was the starting point guard, captain of the team, being coached by Muffet McGraw. Cathy is in, 2 or 3 different Hall of Fames. She played 2 sports, and in one of those sports, she's a Hall of Famer in lacrosse. She was the captain of her college basketball team being coached by Lehigh as a walk-on and earned that spot. So they thought because Cathy Engelbert is skinny, white, and sort of frail, that perhaps, she's a pushover. And Cathy said, no, that's just not the case. Like without me, Deloitte isn't what it is today. And without me, the WNBA isn't what it is today. I'm not a pushover. You're not just going to do me like that, Napheesa, and the rest of you people who have ties to whatever you need me gone so that everything can run smoothly for you. That's just not going to happen. I'm not capitulating. I'm not leaving. I'm fighting, chick. One of the most physical sports next to football is lacrosse and hockey, and I'm in the Hall of Fame. That means I'm a fighter, you idiots. I wore a helmet and pads, you dummies. I'm not giving up. I was a walk-on and became the captain of my college basketball team being coached by Muffin McGraw. Are you crazy? I was the only woman. And then I look at what I did to Deloitte, for Deloitte. Do you somehow think that I'm just going to give this up because you want solids done for Unrivaled? Are you crazy? Because Renee Montgomery is in bed with Unrivaled? Are you stupid? Because these goofy players are pissed that I didn't call them when they freaking stubbed their toe? They never called me when I became commissioner. And now you're pissed that I didn't call you when you stubbed your toe? Are you stupid? This is about business at the beginning, middle, and end of the day. And this league wouldn't exist today for Caitlin Clark to join if I didn't convince you freaking idiots on both sides to play the freaking bubble season. Are you retarded? Don't play with Cathy like that. Stop being disrespectful. And that goofy chick got her leg obliterated. And I told you what was going to happen to that chick. 2 years prior, I was calling her Griselda Blanco. I've been warning y'all about Napheesa Collier. I'm the first one to ever tell y'all about Unrivaled before they ever came out with a formal announcement of it. Someone put it in my DMs. I know certain people. And I got wind of it. And I immediately ran to YouTube and made a live stream telling you about Unrivaled. And then it came true. And I'm the first one to bring up how Angel Reese spilled all the tea on her very first episode of Unapologetically Angel whatever. Oh, I can see that this would be the only league players would play in. It's going to happen. Whoa. Man, CFWB told us about that like 2-3 years ago. Whoa. I told y'all this is what it was. Yo, that's wild, man. CFWB told us that the players are doing this to Cathy because they're afraid of an exclusivity clause potentially being in the CBA. They still want to play these other leagues, and it was never about their health. It was always about them chasing votes, chasing bags, chasing votes. And here comes Gabby and Satu Sabali, and now they're trying to tell the truth. They're spilling it all. This league wants to be the only league to make money. This league wants to be the only league. Oh, wait a second. Okay, so you're doing a solid for these other leagues, and you're doing a solid for Unrivaled. So now the truth comes out, but CFWB told us about this before it ever happened. Okay? Like, this is what it is. Like, what are we doing here? Like, I told y'all about it when Cathy first got hired. And when all of these players, and then some of these black WNBA journalists, writers, were mad that the WNBA hired a white woman as his first ever commissioner. You had players out there talking about it, and you had black women who are journalists talking about it. They were pissed that this predominantly black league hired a white woman to be its commissioner. And that explains why no one congratulated her. No one welcomed her. That's what Cathy stepped in. And then these women tried to hurt this white woman by saying, we're not playing if you don't give us a full season salary, even though we're not playing 32 games. You give us 32 paychecks or we're not playing, even though your league is drowning in red. And Cathy convinced everyone to play, especially the owners, and boom, there it was. The league is saved. And now years later, Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese comes into this league and microwaves its growth, speeds up the growth. And now they want to push out Cathy because they want someone who will bend to these players. And they feel that we don't need Cathy. We have Caitlin. That's why I put Caitlin in the title. That's why I put Napheesa Collier in the title. But we don't need Cathy. All we need is Caitlin. And we need someone who's going to bend to these players, and we're good. And that's why in the description, I use the word capricious. Okay? This is rushed. This is arbitrary. Mercurial. That's what this is. This is immature. This is callow. It's ridiculous. Okay? Right? And this is when you have to then study the history of Cathy Engelbert and what she did for this league and start looking at the year-over-year growth before 2024. Okay? Right? And so you don't throw away someone who saved your life. You don't kick out someone who is the reason why Caitlin Clark could be in this league any damn way. There is no WNBA without Cathy Engelbert. It doesn't exist. All right? So one woman who's responsible for having a platform for Caitlin to join, and then Caitlin, who is responsible along with Angel, but mainly Caitlin, but along with, well, I can't say that because they're inextricably linked. So along with Caitlin and Angel, which allowed this league to be in this microwave, expedited, exponential hyper growth. Okay. You can't just do that. And if you do that, then it's rushed. Okay. It's rushed. It's a rushed decision. It's capricious. And you're going to find yourself in a lot of trouble. And that's why I made the cover photo and the thumbnail. The WNBA will fold without me, without Cathy. You just can't do that. And then you got these ridiculous journalists like Alexa Filippo and other ones, and they're talking about sources, and you'll never know if this is real, if some of these sources actually exist, okay, because they're anonymous. And so Alexa can say, hey, look at me. I work for espn.com. I work for ESPN. I'm reputable. I'm credible. You can trust me. I have sources. And then you as a reader will believe she has all of these sources, and the whole time she's lying or she's embellishing. And maybe she has some sources, but not as many as she's making it out to be. Okay. And so you have to be careful with this thing. I want to bring this up about Caitlin, why this is rushed. Do you guys know that Caitlin Clark and Sophie Cunningham were afraid to attend the events last night, the parties last night, and be around the players because they feel that many of the players don't like them and that a lot of regular people at these parties and clubs would boo them? Okay, they will be pariahs. They will be ostracized. That these women would give Sophie and Caitlin a side eye if they showed up to these nightclubs and these parties. So they knew it. That's why they didn't want to attend. They didn't know if Alyssa Thomas and Dawana would be there. They didn't know who was going to show up. They already know that a lot of the players, because they've been receiving death threats and a lot of racist DMs and things have been sent to these players. And it's a lot of stuff that they stirred and caused. Okay, they didn't know this. I mean, Caitlin just got into it with Sanaya Rivers and they didn't know. We just saw Diamond Miller at the party last night. They didn't know. And Sophie Cunningham going against the trans community when that's what a lot of the women of the WNBA, they stand with LGBTQ plus, full stop. Okay, that's what it is. Now, of course, a lot of them don't want men hooping. Their form of trans is Lasia Clarinet, right? A woman who now decides to just be, they, them, whatever, not identify as a woman or man. And so that's what it is. And so that's their form of trans. They don't really want a man playing in the WNBA. They want a Lasia Clarinet. Okay, that's what they want. A woman who has transitioned to being a man. That's the type of trans they're talking about. They're not talking about men actually transitioning to be a woman hooping in the WNBA. That's not what they're talking about. But regardless, they don't like what Sophie had to say. They didn't like it. And Sophie knows it. That's why you saw Sophie there last season. Why? Because Sophie didn't say these things last season. So Sophie was at these parties and the Stud Buds had her on their live stream and everyone was having a good time with Sophie because Sophie didn't say these things, right? And Sophie attended the parties in 2024, right? This is when Sophie was loved by these players, even though a lot of people didn't like her because she voted for Donald Trump, but they still love Sophie. So Sophie was at these parties. She had a great time. Sophie was at the parties last All-Star weekend, had a great time. Caitlyn was there in 2024 and 2025, having a great time. But everything has gotten worse this year. It's more racist than what it was in 2024 and 2025. These women are receiving more death threats than they were receiving in 2024 and 2025. Sophie Cunningham has become more freaking Fox News and Jesse Waters and what's her name, Emily Compagno, than ever before. Like, this chick is insane. Okay, so Sophie Cunningham is making it known that she's MAGA every day and that she'll do anything for clout. And they see this. Sophie knows that she got all this stuff started with Alyssa Thomas and DeWanna Bonner, which is what put Cathy Engelbert on the hot seat. Remember, before that moment happened, everything was just fine with Cathy. And here's Caitlyn starting this stuff with DeWanna Bonner, walking behind DeWanna Bonner, cussing at her. And then Sophie says, wait a second, Caitlyn, leave some meat on the bone for me. Let me go viral off of this. And then she started provoking that black woman to anger. And then Caitlyn goes to the bench, and Alyssa Thomas is shooting free throws, and Caitlyn says, you B? And then looks at Lexi, and they start laughing. So then next thing you know, you got to meet this chick, and now you're squirming and squealing on the court because you saw your life flash before your very eyes. That's what you saw. You saw your life flash before your very eyes, and you start squirming and squealing on the court. That's what happened. Okay? And no, her fist wasn't on your windpipe. It was on the side of your neck. On the side of your neck, and that lasted for maybe 2 seconds. Maybe 2 seconds. That's what happened. So had you not provoked Alyssa Thomas and DeWanna Bonner to anger, had Sophie not helped you to go viral, because she wanted to go viral, had that never happened, Cathy Engelbert is just fine. She's just fine. Why? Because Alyssa doesn't get death threats. No one gets death threats. At that point, everyone is fine. Business is going great. That's what it is. So listen, she's not as popular as you think. I'm speaking about with the players. So like, you want to get rid of Cathy because you're saying Cathy is impersonable. She's not relatable. She's not personable. She's missing. She's not seen. The players don't feel a connection with her. Well, Caitlin Clark and Sophie Cunningham refused to attend these events last night. Why? Because the players, they fear that the players don't really like them anymore because of what they've been doing so far this season. That's why they were not over here with the freaking Stubbuds. That's why they were not over here with the Stubbuds. That's why you didn't see them at any WNBA event, any Together event, any none of that Queens of the Court event. You didn't see them anywhere. You didn't see them anywhere. Who's that, J.C. Sheldon on the right? Or is that Sarah Ashley Barker? Okay, that looks like J.C. Sheldon. Let me see. Yeah, like you didn't see them anywhere. And the reason why you didn't see them anywhere, because they were scared. They were scared. They were scared, okay, period. That these players wouldn't like them, that they would be mistreated because they made themselves outcasts. They've made themselves pariahs by all of this crap they've been doing up to this point. And so they hid. They hid away. Even Aaliyah Boston hid. Even Aaliyah Boston hid. After telling the Stubbuds, yeah, I'll be out tonight. And she didn't come out. She hid. Why? Because everyone is getting drunk, and maybe it's caught on camera where they're asking Leah Boston about Caitlyn and Sophie. And Aaliyah was like, I'm hiding. I don't want any parts of this. You didn't see Kelsey Mitchell. Lexi Hall didn't attend anything. Lexi wanted to stay away from it all. You didn't see any of them. Not a single Fever player was seen. Not a single one. Raven Johnson was literally in Chicago. She posted that on her IG. Raven wasn't out. Aaliyah lied to the stud buds and she didn't come out to the club or any other parties. Lexi, no one was anywhere to be found. They're staying away, out of sight, out of mind. We started all of this trouble. We don't want any problems. We don't want, because last year, Caitlin Clark was dancing on tables, drunk as hell. Aaliyah Boston is hiding her drink. Caitlin Clark is at all the parties, all the clubs. And she's supposed to have a messed up groin and a messed up quad, dancing on the tables, rapping and singing, getting drunk. Because it was messy last year, but it was less messy because she wasn't hooping anymore. Okay. So because she wasn't hooping anymore, up to that point, she only played 13 games. It wasn't as messy. It was messy, but not as messy as 2024. And definitely, obviously, not like 2026. So she was able to just skate and get away with things. And players were welcoming and they loved her. Sophie was fine. Sophie wasn't doing what she's doing this year. So Sophie was able to go out and go to all of these parties. Okay? That's what happened. But this year, it's a mess. Caitlin Clark is stirring up all of this drama, all of this trouble. The women of the league are receiving more death threats and more racism hurled at them than ever before. And then Sophie is now pretty much attacking the LGBTQ plus community. On top of all of the other horrible things Sophie has done so far this season. And so they're scared. We won't be welcome. We won't be accepted. And that's what this is, you guys. That's what this is all about. And that's why they weren't out with the stud buds yesterday. Let me go back. Okay. Right. And like, that's what that is. That's what it is. That's why they weren't out. That's why they weren't out. And so if you go to this article, this is just very immature. But one thing it's going to bring up is the whole Napheesa Collier thing. Let's talk about this. It's easy to lead in good times, Engelbert told ESPN in a phone interview last week, where leaders really emerge, in my experience, is when you're best in your darkest moments and you don't give up. So she's saying where leaders really emerge, in my experience, is when you're your best in your darkest moments and you don't give up. Engelbert has navigated numerous challenges in her 7 years as WNBA commissioner, from 2 collective bargaining negotiations to a global pandemic and social unrest to inheriting a business with, in her words, no money, no scale, no capability. That's what Cathy took over. Yes, she might be living the darkest moments of her tenure now. And boom, here it is, Napheesa Collier. Okay, Napheesa Collier, right? A tempest surrounding her leadership emerged last fall when Napheesa Collier, one of the league's biggest stars, said in an explosive end-of-season interview that Engelbert was negligent in her governance and that the WNBA had the worst leadership in the world. This is the contrast, the juxtaposition, the comparison to make Unrivaled and her husband Alex look better, look more attractive, look more appealing to potential investors and to players. And to Caitlin Clark. And that's why she kept throwing Caitlin Clark in. Cathy is bad. Cathy is bad. My husband great. My husband great. This is strategic. This is planned. And she did it during the WNBA's Super Bowl, which is the finals. She was scorned. Okay. She felt that she was freaking devious and vindictive. And this was done out of spite. And she wanted to pay Cathy back. She felt that Cathy and the league hurt their chances of winning the finals, and that Cathy is responsible for her league being blown to pieces, for her leg being blown to pieces, when that was just an innocent bang bang play. That's what happened. And that was punishment for how you was trying to tear this league down leading up to that point. And I called it out. I said, God is going to get her. And he got her. He got her. It ain't like you showed your true colors. And like, that's what that is. And so it's just bad. Like, you don't treat people like that. You don't do people like that. And so there it is. And then called it draconian and all of this BS, just disgusting. And then so boom, you start getting, and then they bring, now here's the part that I wanted to talk about. So Then they bring up the Alyssa Thomas. Players, teams, and fans consistently and loudly voice frustrations over officiating. Well, the officiating was bad before Cathy ever took this league over. The officiating in the WNBA has always been bad before Cathy ever stepped on the scene. Why? Because these officials don't want to be full-time. You got that idiot Stacey Dales who ignored this league for years. We're focusing on the NFL. Stacey had nothing to say about this league. Nothing on Twitter, nowhere. I've been following Stacey for a really long time, and as Stacey is immature, she gets into these high school wars with people on Twitter and cusses at them and clowns them, and then they clowns her, and then she blocks them. I've been dealing with Stacey for a long time, y'all. Okay, so Stacey doesn't care about this league anymore, but now she's interested because it's beneficial for her now. And so then she jumps on and sort of piggybacks off of what Caitlin Clark said, if you will, whatever that means. Okay, right, and talks about full time. But Caitlin doesn't know this, but these officials don't want to be full-time employees if they're not going to be paid more than what they're making from officiating in the WNBA and in college. For some of you who don't know, the officials you're watching in the WNBA are the exact same officials you watch in college. They leave the WNBA and they go to the NCAA. Then they leave the NCAA, they come back to the WNBA. And sometimes in between, you'll see them in Unrivaled. Okay? So sometimes some of these, not Unrivaled, but in Athletes Unlimited. Okay? So sometimes you'll see these same officials in Athletes Unlimited, but so what they're free agents. And they make a lot of money. And so Stacey Dales is saying pay them $200,000 and make them full time and give them benefits. Well, they're saying like, well, we'll actually be losing money. Thank you for the benefits, but we'll be losing money. Do you know how much money we make officiating in the WNBA, in college, and in these other leagues? Like, no, like 200 grand is nothing. No, hell no. We like being free agents. We make a lot of money. We make a lot of money officiating in the W and in college and in these other leagues. No, I'm not willing to be a full-time employee only making $200K with some little benefits. Doesn't work for me. I make a lot of money officiating college and the W. I'm not willing to give that up. Now, if you give us $500,000 plus benefits, then we can have a conversation. But $200,000, that's just not going to work. That's not going to work for us. So Stacey doesn't know this because she's clout chasing. Caitlin doesn't know this because Caitlin used that moment to finesse the officials and then lied and then contradicted herself. And then because the very next game, she's cussing out and yelling at officials and all in the black officials' face. We don't need to make their jobs harder and more difficult. They need to be full-time employees and blah, 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 blah. And then she then begins to berate and cuss out these officials and she makes their jobs harder. Okay, it was a finesse move, and I told you she was finessing them. And when the officials didn't buy the finesse, she got pissed and started cussing at them and yelling at them, making their jobs difficult after you just said they don't deserve that treatment. And then you gave them that treatment. And then you don't know that these officials don't want to be full-time employees unless the money is right. And $200K isn't good enough for them. They make a lot of money in the W and in college and in leagues in between. Angelica Suffren, the ball dancer, she makes a lot of money officiating in the W and college and in other leagues. She's not willing to give that up. Not one of these officials are. So $200K isn't good enough, Stacey, but Stacey doesn't know this because Stacey gave up on the W once she got in bed with the NFL. She didn't care about the WNBA anymore. Now she's grifting and clout chasing. Okay? So there's nothing Cathy addressed it. Cathy said, do you guys know that this is a 5-year process? We would have to, and which is what Cathy did, honestly. They have new officials in the WNBA and some of them. And so it's a 5-year process. And I brought that up to you guys. Even before Cathy said it, I brought it up. I said it's a 5-year process. It's going to require them 5 years in order for them to be good enough to officiate in the WNBA. Okay, to be trusted as officials in the WNBA. It'll take them 5 years. And so in the meantime, we got to keep with these officials and do something with the rules. And so they said, you know what? here's some task force. Let's have freedom of movement and let's protect our stars and give them beautiful whistles. And that's what they did. And it pissed off certain players and it pissed off certain fans. And then the players they tried to protect, they got pissed off, like Caitlin Clark and others, because they didn't know that them fouling, that those fouls would be called against them. They didn't know it. They just thought everything, the whistles would be all for them and that they wouldn't be on the other receiving end of the whistles. And now that they're getting called for these fouls, they don't like it. And the coaches don't like it. It's too ticky-tack. But wait a second, you are the ones who fought for this during the offseason. And so, Cathy, it's like, you can't have it both ways. I just brought on new officials this season. I told you to remove the current officials we have. It's going to take 5 years to bring in trusted officials. They have to go through a long process of vetting, of experience. That's going to take around 5 years. But in the meantime, let's bend these rules to protect our star players and give them a cute little whistle. But this is going to impact everyone because we can't be seen as playing favorites, right? We can't be seen as that, although that's literally what we're doing. So you can't have it both ways. Now you're complaining about the officiating, but you are the one who wanted everything light. Now it's too light and you're complaining. This is a mess. You're talking about a flagrant foul when that thing lasted barely 2 seconds. And you started it. And now you're complaining? It doesn't work that way. It doesn't work that way. She's not protecting Caitlin Clark, right? And so that's what it is. There is no Caitlin Clark in the WNBA without Cathy Engelbert. The WNBA would have been dead. The players and the owners were willing to kill it. What are you talking about here? The officials were always terrible in this league. And what you're witnessing right now is styrofoam ball fights. This is popcorn. This isn't pillow fighting, because sometimes you can hit someone in the face with a pillow and it stings, right? This isn't pillow fighting, y'all. This is women throwing popcorn at each other in terms of the physicality. This is a popcorn fight. This is a styrofoam ball fight, a styrofoam pebble fight compared to what the league used to be. The league, this is a bad joke compared to the physicality that you talking about years ago, 10 years ago, 15 years ago. This league was absolutely brutal. Brutal. Hell, 7 years ago, this league was brutal, son. Brutal. I always tell people we're watching women throw popcorn at each other. We're watching a styrofoam pebble fight compared to the physicality in previous seasons. This is a joke. This is an absolute joke, what we're witnessing right now. And if you can't handle this, you damn sure couldn't have been playing in this league 5 years ago, 7, 10 years ago. Okay. So this is what Cathy inherited. And she's tried to make it better ever since she's commissioner. The fouls have gone up. This is Cathy trying to make sure that she's able to legislate certain things, manufacture certain things to sort of make these women, tone it down a little bit. And that's not what's going on. But anyway, so let's get back to this article. So players, teams, and fans consistently and loudly voice frustrations over officiating and divisive discourse, and increased harassment towards players seem never ending. Well, the reason why is because Caitlin Clark brought on a bunch of cesspool, racist, clout chasing, grifting con artists with her to this league, and it's become a mess. So instead of these players pointing out Caitlin Clark and her fan base, they want to point at Cathy. Instead of the owners and their partners saying this league has gotten more racist than ever before and more cruel ever since Caitlin Clark jumped into this league, they won't say that. So they're pointing fingers at Cathy. This isn't Cathy's fault. This is Caitlin's fault. This is her fans' fault. Caitlin never told her fans to say that Caitlin let it fester. She let it spread. And then when it was expedient for her to come out and say something because her freaking approval rating was dropping, if you will, she was becoming unpopular. It was a PR move and her arm was twisted and she had to come out and say something. And it was just barely. It was light work. And her fans was like, she doesn't mean it. Let's get back to, calling these black women DEI woke thugs, monkeys, chimping out, the N-word, all of this BS. Let's keep that going, baby. Let's keep that going. Let's make her look superior, and let's make all the black players look inferior. Let's mock them and tease them, and let's troll them. Yeah, baby. And Caitlyn, once again, never said a damn thing. Up until after she started that crap with Alyssa Thomas and Dwana, and 9 days later, her arm was twisted again, and she had to come out and say something, and then she made it all about herself and played victim and tried to finesse the referees. Then in the very next game, she's cussing out and yelling at the referees. Okay, so instead of the owners and these anonymous sources and these players saying, no, Caitlyn, it's because of Caitlyn and her disgusting fans, they're putting it all on Cathy Engelbert, the low-hanging fruit, the scapegoat. Okay? And so, like, that's what's going on. Even the league's retroactive assessment of Thomas getting a flagrant 2-foul 1-game suspension report said NBA Commissioner Adam Silver stepped in to advise Engelbert that Thomas should be suspended. Okay, remember what I told you? Adam Silver leaked that to the media because Adam Silver wants in on this WNBA. He would much rather be the commissioner until he's able to find a more permanent commissioner, and that's what it is. So he's throwing Cathy Engelbert out there. The league is more popular than the NBA. The league is more talked about than the NBA. This is why Adam Silver put out a mandate to buy up all of these private, independently owned WNBA teams. All of these independently owned WNBA teams, the NBA is trying to buy them out when the NBA never wanted to touch these teams before. Okay, the WNBA has been run by independent owners for years. Okay, for years, y'all. And now the NBA wants to buy them out. That's why the Connecticut Sun are now the Houston Comets, run by an NBA owner, because of the success of the WNBA. And the WNBA is more popular than the NBA. Doesn't make money like the NBA, but it's more popular than the NBA. And Adam and the owners, they want in on it. Even though they didn't like this league, they want in on it because now it's extremely popular. So Adam is like, I might as well just be the commissioner, step in until we hire a new one, but I want in on this. Let me leak this to the media to make Cathy look bad and throw her under the bus. This is disgusting. Cathy is low-hanging fruit. She's a scapegoat, and she's being attacked. She's being attacked because of agendas. Okay? So now Alyssa Thomas is saying she didn't hear from Cathy. Cathy's saying, no, we contacted Alyssa. But now Alyssa is eating those words because Cathy never wanted to suspend Alyssa Thomas. So now Alyssa's like, damn, man, I really screwed up here. I should have probably kept that to myself. And if you were lying, okay, that really makes you look bad, Alyssa. But Alyssa's like, damn, I didn't know that. I should have just kept that to myself. That sucks. I didn't know that Cathy was defending me and that Cathy never wanted to suspend me. Damn, that sucks. All of the other black women was like, that's why we don't like her, Damn, that's my bad. I jumped out the window too soon on that. I never wanted a white woman to be the commissioner anyway, so I was happy to hear that, Alyssa, because we could pile on her. And besides, many of us are in bed with Unrivaled and Project B, and so like we wanted to really pile on this woman because we never liked her because we were mad that she was a white woman and the first ever commissioner of the league, a white woman, and we didn't like that. That's why we never welcomed her. So let's pile on Cathy. Damn, Cathy was defending us? Cathy was defending us? Cathy never wanted to suspend you? Damn, my bad. My oops. Come on, man. What are we talking about here? The hell up out of here. So now let's get into these stupid anonymous sources, stakeholders. Conversations with more than 20 stakeholders in and around the WNBA who spoke on the condition of anonymity, including owners, management, players, and other industry insiders, offer a general belief that for as much business growth as Cathy has overseen, she's not the right person to navigate the demands the league currently faces. What demands? That she kiss the feet of these players? because you can't touch her with the business side. That's highlighted. That's highlighted. Okay? The stakeholders believe that for as much business growth Engelbert has overseen, so they can't touch it, so they're going to these other things. I do, and here it is. This is the jealousy part of it. This is how they know they can't get rid of Cathy. So they're giving this to Alexa and Annie and the media to like what Napheesa and the Wnba did. Throw out these baseless allegations to the media in hopes that it makes Cathy look bad to force Cathy to resign, right? Because you have no grounds to fire her because she's so great for business. She's elite in that field, even before 2024. So they can't attack her on business. So they're saying, well, because she won't massage us every day, she's bad for business. We need a commissioner who's going to massage us. This is jealousy. This is envy. And this is them going to the media, trying to put public pressure with freaking Dan Patrick, who never cared about the WNBA until 2025. Okay. Right? Going to Dan Patrick and these other people to try to make Cathy look bad, to force Cathy out. So Cathy is being attacked. So let's read this. I do think Cathy thinks, well, she's done her job. She got us financially set up the right way, another team executive said. It's the other pieces that we're talking about. You see this? This is jealousy. And this is also them admitting that they have no true reasonable grounds to fire Cathy, to get rid of Cathy. Because why? Cathy's job is to put this league in a position where this league is able to be viable. Okay? Viability, sustainability, viability. Okay? In perpetuity, indefinitely, long term, well into the future. And because Cathy has done that, but they still want her gone. They still want her gone. Why? Because Cathy doesn't bend to these players. Cathy doesn't kiss their feet. Cathy doesn't kiss these other people's feet who aren't the owners. And because Cathy doesn't do that, they want her gone. And then many of them don't like that she got booed the way she did. Okay? And because they don't like it. They feel like it's a bad look on them and they don't like it. But Roger Goodell gets booed all the time, and the NFL owners are saying, no, we're like, that's just not happening. This guy is getting booed all of the time, profusely, and we're just not going to get rid of him because these fans don't like him, because the reason why the fans don't like him is because the players don't like him. That's why the fans don't like Roger Goodell, because the players don't like Roger Goodell. The players don't like Cathy, so the fans are like, yeah, the players don't like her, so let's not like her. And the media are jumping on it because they need stories. Okay? Dan Patrick doesn't like it because Cathy stiff-armed him. Why did Cathy stiff-arm him? I got better things to do. Dan, where were you in 2023? Where were you in 2022? Where were you in 2021? Where were you in 2020? Where were you in 2019? Where were you, Dan? When we was going through this bubble wobble stuff and COVID and racism and all of this, where were you, Dan? Dan, you could have helped my league grow in 2021, 2022, 2023. Where were you, Dan? Where were you, Dan Patrick? You were waiting on this league to get lit enough for you to welcome us to your podcast. Because you weren't there with us before. Where were you, Stacey Dales? And you hooped in this league. Where were you? You had nothing to say about us until they got lit. All of you. And so Cathy is like, why should I come on your podcast? Why? Dan Patrick, when you didn't give a F about us until it got lit. And now that I stiff-armed you, you run into the media snitching and telling and whining and complaining. What are we talking about here? Stop playing with Cathy like that. You real disrespectful. Let me get this out of the way. Yeah, you real disrespectful. Multiple high-ranking team sources told ESPN they believe the 2026 season likely will be Engelbert's last. That's possible. But as you see in the cover photo, the WNBA will fold without me. Why? Because you're banking everything on Caitlin Clark and bringing in a commissioner who would kiss feet, Bring in a commissioner who would kiss feet. Okay. And all we need is Caitlin, and that's it. So bring in a commissioner who will worship Caitlin and kiss all the players' feet. And we only really need her. We just need her a little bit competent, a little bit. She probably can't be it like Cathy, but as long as she worships Caitlin and kisses the feet of the players and of these executives, we're good because we have Caitlin, and that's all we need. So we don't necessarily need her. And then they're forgetting that the only reason why you have Caitlin is because of her, is because of Cathy, because this league would have been dead without her. Okay, so this is why I say capricious. These people are also stupid because they think okay, so what happened last year when a league gave the Indiana Fever the majority of the nationally televised games? And I told you before the season started, I said, God is going to injure Caitlin Clark. I said also, what would happen if Caitlin is out for the whole season and you gave the Fever all of these nationally televised games? What do you think is going to happen? Okay, you backed the wrong horse. You put too much on this one player. And what happened? Now the ratings were still good, but it wasn't as good as it should have been or could have been. Had you spread out some of these games and promoted and marketed some of your other stars. But that's not what the networks wanted. The networks wanted the Fever. And so they pressured the WNBA to schedule, to make sure that the Fever, these are the games that they wanted, that they purchased, the Fever games. And it hurt the WNBA to some degree. Okay, it hurt the networks to some degree, right? And so they still didn't learn their lesson because they gave them 44 games this season. So it was like, it is what it is, right? But yeah, like but they gave some other teams a bunch of games too, unlike last season. So that's what it is, you guys. So what I'm saying is that if you're putting all of this on Caitlin like you did in 2025 and she only plays 13 games, okay, what do you think is going to happen in 2027, 2028? If something bad happens to Caitlin Clark and she's out for the season, or she has a career-ending injury, or the pressure gets so hot, okay, the pressure gets so tight that she can't handle it, based off of threats, or you name it, or players and people in general not liking her. And she's like, you know what? I'm out of here. I'm just going to do something else. And then you're going to look like idiots because now you don't have her anymore. And then you got rid of the woman who is the only person who was able to sustain your league and keep it afloat, to make your league actually start walking and running. Because Laura Ritchie couldn't do it. Lisa Borders couldn't do it. Val Ackerman couldn't do it. Donna Orender couldn't do it. And I love Donna Orender. And she had some really good success with this league. She helped this league in the digital space in a lot of ways. But no, the league was in the red and it was essentially dead in the water. Donna was helping them out, but I'm just saying, no president ever did what this woman did. Not Val, not Donna, not Laurel, not Lisa. No one ever did what Cathy did. No one. Okay? Cathy took something that was dead in the water and gave it life. And that's the only reason why it exists. The women were willing to kill this league. And she said no. The owners were willing to kill it. And she said, wait a second, you guys, this is crazy. So there is no Caitlin Clark in the WNBA without Cathy Engelbert, because the league wouldn't exist. It wouldn't exist. She saved this league on all fronts. On all fronts. And these people are stupid. This is the way a ninth grader thinks. These people are dumb. They think, well, all we have is Caitlin. And if we can just get in the commissioner who will worship Caitlin and then kiss the feet of all of these players and these other executives, we're great. And then they're not seeing that these things don't last forever. What if you can't guarantee? Listen, it says in your Bible, some of these things don't even last a year. It says in your Bible, don't brag about tomorrow because you don't know what it will bring. Focus on today. Don't boast about tomorrow, because you don't know what it may bring. You don't even know if you'll be around tomorrow. So you have to live in the moment, in the day, for today. You can't guarantee Caitlin Clark doesn't have a career-ending injury. You don't know that. You can't guarantee that she doesn't just retires, just out of the blue, decides to retire. I got better things to do. I don't need this crap. I'm out of here. And so what do you think is going to happen? So you better hope and pray that Juju Watkins and Hannah Hidalgo and Aldi Crooks and the rest of these women are able to do something, because if they're not, then it's going to go back to 2019, 2018. It's going to get bad, okay? It's going to get bad again, because you got rid of a woman who gave you CPR and put you in a hospital and gave you IVs and gave you the best nurses, the best doctors, the best care. And you were on your feet and you were able to walk and move and you were able to exercise and jog and all of these things. Okay. And then boom, here's 2024 and here's Angel, Caitlin and Angel. And then now you're running and jumping and sprinting, and that's what happened. Okay. But during all of that time, this same woman, Cathy, is able to take all of that hyper growth, all of that momentum, and she's able to expand. And she's able to get you over $3 billion media rights deal. And she's able to bring in more corporate partners, sponsors, investors. So she's still doing all of this work with all of this momentum, with all of this new growth, with all of these new people. Cathy is able to take that and say rapid expansion. She's able to take that and say more corporate partners, sponsors, more investors, a better CBA, a better media rights deal. Look at what I did before this, and I gave you significant year-over-year growth, and now look at what I'm doing with this. And you're willing to let that go because of I'm not kissing your feet? The NFL said, I don't give a damn how these fans feel about Roger Goodell. We're not letting him go. He's just too good for business. But these people think that, no, we don't need her. All we need is Caitlin. And the commissioner would kiss the feet of everyone and we're just fine. And it doesn't work that way. That's the way a ninth grader would think. These are stupid people. Okay? Doesn't work that way. So Cathy says, I'm focused, head down on executing this highly, highly successful 30th season. I love this league. We're going to continue to drive the business, and don't worry about me. It's more about the team. That's what we built here at the W. So I'm really, really optimistic about where we're going in the future. She's wearing her rose-colored lenses. She's optimistic. As you can see, Cathy, how do I get that out of there? Okay, yeah. In May 2019, when Engelbert was named the first commissioner of the WNBA, the title for former leaders was president. Silver lauded the 33-year Deloitte professional and former CEO as world-class business leader who could bring revenue generation, sharp entrepreneurial instincts, and proven management abilities when COVID-19 pandemic and existential moment for the league, as she called it, hit less than a year into the job. Engelbert marshaled the WNBA to successfully execute a condensed bubble season. Okay. And so remember, I told you the players were complaining. They got tired of playing and used that Jacob Blake situation to get out of playing. I swear to God, that's what they did. I called it before it happened. In the years since, the WNBA has catapulted into what Engelbert calls hyper-growth mode, cementing itself as a major sports and entertainment property. The media rights deal, the expansion, the footprint, all of this stuff. It's just great with Cathy. And so what I want to get down, let's get down to these little snakes. I want to get down to the snakes. Yet missteps dotted her tenure. In 2024, she did not condemn racist and vitriolic behavior from fans surrounding the Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese rivalry in a CNBC interview, but Collier's scorched earth remarks and the slew of player support she received in the aftermath marked the first time Engelbert's strained relationship around the league erupted publicly. Now, like I stated before, these same players are a part of Unrivaled. They are investors. Okay. These players have equity in Unrivaled. And so they're compromised. You can't trust anything coming from these. Of course, they would have Napheesa's back. And number one, these are the same players who didn't want a white woman being the first ever commissioner. So you can't trust anything coming from them. Can't trust anything coming from them. Right. And so like that's what that is. And so at the time, Engelbert said she felt disheartened to hear some players feel that she and the league did not care about them. And so she said she'll get better and all of that. The CBA negotiations were contentious, but the final product was viewed as a win for both sides. Kudos to Cathy Liberty Ford. Satu Sabli, a member of the EC, said in April she really wanted to make a new CBA work. She did it. Now, Satu was attacking Cathy. This is when Satu believed there was going to be an exclusivity clause, and Satu and Gabby Williams and others started to attack Cathy. Oh, they want to be the only league. They don't want us to play in any other league. Oh, wait a second. So it was never about your health? Because remember, you guys say we don't want to play year round because we're risking our health, but we're forced to because this is how we're able to supplement our income because we don't make enough money in the States in this league. Oh, so it was never about your health. So now that the league is giving you better money than any other league can give you outside of Project B, you still want to play these other leagues to get this vault, to get this money. So it was always about the money. It was never about your health. Okay, right. So anyway, WNBPA President Nneka told CNBC in March that she had said to Engelbert, "We're standing here with you, Cathy. There probably isn't a better way to represent us settling our differences and moving forward in a league that we all care about than by signing this deal." And so that's what it was at the WNBA draft. Cathy said she felt really good about her relationship with the players, suggesting their previous criticisms were a lot of posturing amid negotiations, a sentiment she echoed last week to ESPN. "I think it was a moment of maturity to say, yeah, the negotiation was contentious. So was the NBA one, the NFL one, the Major League Baseball one," Engelbert said. "We never had one like that. Was there a lot of posturing? Sure. Was there a lot of discussion back and forth? I see what Rob Manfred's going to go through in the MLB. This is just unfortunately the way it is. There was a lot going on in between, but I'm really proud of what we did together with the players. So utmost respect for them or to them. Even so, the league remains unsettled." And so like, this is what it is, you guys. Like, this is crazy. So then they start pointing out, this is where it gets really high school. And so they start pointing out different things. Well, during the Los Angeles Sparks win against the Liberty in their matchup, to commemorate the league's inaugural game, they're saying that Cathy had a golf tournament or say had to do something with the PGA. And they said 18,000 fans were in attendance. You got legends like Lisa and Delisha and Teresa and Rebecca, who are all in bed with Unrivaled outside of Delisha and Rebecca. Everyone else is in bed with Unrivaled anyway. Engelbert missed the celebratory game. She was about 3,000 miles away. You didn't have to say 3,000. So once again, this lets you know that ESPN is along with smearing and slandering and trying to hurt Cathy, because you didn't have to say 3,000 miles. You could have just said she was hosting or she was a part of an event at the US Open golf tournament. You could have said she was in New York. No, Southampton, New York, 3,000 miles away. Okay, so this is to make you think Cathy is so distant. She doesn't care. She's just so far away, 3,000 miles away. This is how nasty Alexis is, or whatever her name is, Alexa. This is how nasty these people are. Okay. So in New York for a U.S. Open golf tournament, a member of a 15-person USGA executive committee. So she's a part of their executive committee, you guys. She presented a trophy that evening to champion Wyndham Clark's caddy. She also did not appear later that week at the Women's Basketball Hall of Fame induction in Knoxville. Well, guess what? Lisa Borders and Laura Ritchie and Val Ackerman and Donna Orender, they didn't attend all Hall of Fames, Women's Basketball Hall of Fames. Okay, Adam doesn't attend all of them. Roger Goodell doesn't attend all of them. Manfred, he doesn't attend all of them. right? So once again, she's targeted. This is intentional. This is a hit piece. They're trying to oust her. They're trying to force her out. You guys, this is a hostile takeover. That's what this is. And they're trying to force her out. That's all that. That's why you included 3,000 miles away. Last time I checked, the MLB commissioner doesn't attend all Hall of Fames or special celebratory games. He doesn't attend all of that. Neither does Roger Goodell all of the time, and neither does Adam Silver all of the time. Cathy had other things she had to do. It is what it is. Now, maybe in the future, if you keep around, she'll say, you know what, I'll blow off all of this other stuff, and I'll be around every time some former WNBA player attends a game. Every time some former Hall of Fame or some former great WNBA player attends a game, and there's 15, 18,000 people in attendance and they want to see them do a jump ball, I'll blow off everything else I have going on to attend that game. Sure, why not? Why not? Come on, stop it, y'all. It's high school. Look, she also did not appear later that week at the Women's Basketball Hall of Fame induction in Knoxville, Tennessee, where Lynx coach Cheryl Reeve and league legends Candace Parker and Elena Delle Donne were honored. Why? Why would I be there when Elena Delle Donne went public to make me look bad and said that Cathy didn't call me, reach out to me when I retired? Okay. And Cathy is like, you know what? I think Cathy said she did something else. She didn't call Elena Delle Donne, but she reached out to her in some way. Well, Elena wanted a phone call. Elena, no, you call me and talk to me. Okay, that's fair, Elena Delle Donne. But let me ask you something, Ed. Let me ask you something. And when I got hired as commissioner, I mean, you had nothing to say to me. I swear to God, you never welcomed me. The same with you, Candace Parker. Oh, let me get this straight. Yeah, that's right. You and other members in the media were pissed that they hired a white commissioner. Okay, so anyway, let's move on. Is this Cathy being petty? Probably. Because last time I checked, respect goes both ways. You want me to call you every time you stub your toe, but when I got into this league, all of you didn't like me because I'm a white woman as the first ever commissioner. And that's why all of you didn't like me. So why should I attend your freaking your induction when all of you were taking shots at me? So you mean to tell me I'm just going to be there celebrating women who all attack me? It doesn't work that way, right? Listen, maybe this is Cathy being petty. Okay. But you women were also petty. So to me, this is all high school stuff. And these are delusional women who want it both ways. And that's what this is. It doesn't, Candace Parker, you can't go on your podcast and trash Cathy. You can't go on national television and trash Cathy. You can't lie and skew things, Elena Delle Donne, and make it seem like Cathy never reached out to you, which she did. She just didn't call you. And you also can't leave out the part that none of you welcomed her to this league. None of you. It is before she ever did anything wrong in your eyes. You never welcomed the league's first ever commissioner. Not one of you. And you throw her name into the dirt and she's supposed to be there at your induction celebrating women who tried to get her fired? It doesn't work that way. Okay? Look at this right here. I think Cathy's ultimate Achilles heel would be just relationships, a lack of with a lot of key stakeholders in that role. You need to be able to build strong relationships and give and take. I think she really struggled with that. Yeah, so Cathy, let us give you disrespect and let's let you take disrespect. Okay? Take this disrespect, some give and take, right? Some little back and forth with us, okay? Give it, take it, right? Whether you take it or give it, or we give it and you take it. So this disrespect needs to be mutual. Okay? This needs to be reciprocal. You need to take this disrespect and just eat it. And we want you to barely give it back to us. Just barely. Or just don't do it at all. Just let us run over you, Cathy. Listen, y'all, they can't do anything about her. They say her Achilles heel ultimately is from stakeholders, is that it's about relationships. They can't attack her on money. They can't attack her on business. They have to attack her on the fact that Cathy doesn't kiss our feet. And Cathy never forgets how we treated her. Cathy never forgets how we mistreated her. And she doesn't kiss our feet because we can't attack her on business. Okay, let's get here. I don't see any changes since Collier comments, one owner told ESPN. I don't think she's learned significantly based on her failures. Let me guess. Renee Montgomery? Sounds like Renee. That sounds like Renee to me. Let me guess. That was Renee Montgomery. Napheesa, you bringing up Napheesa's comments or Napheesa's allegations? And the fact that Cathy did Napheesa solid by not suing her. What are we talking about here? Her comments. Cathy is like, I didn't do anything wrong. What are you saying? This chick lied on me. And then she threw Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese in there, hoping that she could clout chase their fans to supporting Unrivaled. I came out and categorically denied all of those false accusations. And I did Napheesa solid by not suing her. And somehow you want me to have some give and take to just eat that and say that I said those things when I never said those things? How come none of you defended me? Where's my defense from you, from all of you? You're making money because of me. Me. Where's my love? Where's my support? Where's my defense? I don't think anything has changed since Napheesa's comment. What are you talking about? Napheesa lied on me and tried to pump up her husband to make her husband and her league look better than me in this league so everyone can go to their league. Where's my defense? And all of you do what all fans do. You attack the commissioner because the commissioner is perceived as always the bad person. And during the CBA, everyone saw the truth and was like, these players freaking suck. But now that everything has died down and is dissipated, now everyone is like, yeah, let's attack Cathy again because Caitlin was squirming on the floor. What are you talking about here? It doesn't work that way. No, you're not safe. You're not safe because there's no guarantee Caitlin doesn't get a career-ending injury or multiple season-ending injuries. There's no guarantee. So you get rid of the woman who saved the league because you think all you need is Caitlin and someone who kisses feet and you're good. It's not that simple. It doesn't work that way. It will never go as you plan it to go. Okay? Stakeholders from multiple constituencies across the league, team officials, owners, players, and agents cite Engelbert's style and approach as problematic, saying she often comes across as not personable, defensive, dismissive, condescending, or out of touch. What they're saying is this, y'all. Cathy never forgets. Cathy doesn't let us run over her because we didn't know that Cathy is a Hall of Famer in lacrosse. That's a real physical sport. We didn't know that Cathy Engelbert was a walk-on at Lehigh under Muffet McGraw and became captain of the basketball team. And she's in multiple Hall of Fames. We didn't know that Cathy worked her way up and was CEO of Deloitte. And the only reason why Deloitte truly honestly to this day exists is because of Cathy Engelbert as a woman. So we didn't know that Cathy would fight us, that she would be a fighter. We thought Cathy would let us walk over her because she's white and she's frail and skinny and she looks old. And so we just assumed that this is the type of white chick that'll let us step all over her. We forgot that she's in the Hall of Fame for lacrosse, a physical sport. That she was the captain of her college basketball team as a walk-on. And she's the only reason why Deloitte is where it is today. So we didn't know she was a fighter and that she's just not going to let us piss on her. That's what this says. Read this. Stakeholders from multiple constituencies across the league, team officials, owners, players, and agents cite Engelbert's style and approach is problematic. She's a problem to us. Why? Because she's not personable. She doesn't, we don't feel like we can do and say whatever we want to do and say about her around her, right? She doesn't follow the script. She's defensive. When she's attacked, she's defensive. When the media is attacking her, she attacks back. That's not the way this thing goes. We need you to let everyone walk over you, Cathy. She's dismissive at times. That means Cathy is flexing. Like, so we don't want Cathy to tell you about everything she did for this league. Okay? Like, that's not what we want. We want you to see what this league is now and not what Cathy did for this league. Condescending. Just condescending. Why? Because Cathy is like, no, it's not going to work like that. You can't come at me like that without me showing you my flex, showing you my muscles and what I did. Absolutely not. It doesn't work that way. Doesn't work that way. So what they're saying is that Cathy is confident and Cathy isn't going to bend. She's not pliable in that way. She's not going to bend. She's strong. She's confident. She knows what she's done for this league. Okay? And she's just not going to be run over. And we want someone who's going to let us run over her. That's what it is. Okay? That's what it is. And because Cathy isn't doing that, oh, she's condescending. Oh, she's out of touch. She's not out of touch. Cathy isn't out of touch. Cathy, listen, I wear many hats. I'm doing what I need to do for this league. And by the way, I'm on the executive board and committees and other things, and I have other events I have to attend to. We have over 80 plus people working in league office. They can take care of some of these things when I'm not around. That's called delegation. That's called delegation. That's called boards. Right? Like, that's what it is. That's why we have boards, okay? That's why we have vice presidents. They exist. It's called delegation, a broad view. Hearing others' feedbacks, and then the head of the board can go and do other things while other people can take care of other little things or other big things. That's what it is, y'all. These people are silly, but they don't understand this. They don't understand this. So Cathy can go and do things at the PGA. Why? Because she has other people who can handle these other things. It's called delegation, you guys. That's what it's called. Okay? What's the point of me hiring all of these people in the league office if I can't do something at the PGA Tour? And you can't blow this up in the media as if it's a bad thing. This is what presidents do. This is what commissioners do. Sometimes David Stern used to have Adam Silver to handle certain things. Sometimes Adam Silver has Mark Tatum to handle certain things. That's just the way this thing goes. Hell, Paul Tagliabue used to have Roger Goodell to handle things before Paul Tagliabue resigned. This is how it goes. Okay? But that's not the way the media is going to spin it, and that's not the way executives are going to spin it. Why? Because this is a hostile takeover. They want her gone. That's all that this is. They want someone who's going to kiss Caitlin Clark's butt and the players' butts and their butts. Am I lying to you? Do you not see it right here? This is them saying, oh, she's condescending. She's dismissive. She's defensive too. She just won't let us talk bad about her. She won't let us downplay what she did before Caitlin got into this league. And she's confident. She's a confident woman. And so we're going to frame that as condescending. She's not relatable. She's not personable because she doesn't follow the script. We want someone who follows the script, and she doesn't follow the script. The media doesn't like her because Cathy doesn't bend over and let us tell bad stories about her. Cathy will get on the defense. She just won't let us lie on her. She won't let Napheesa lie about her. She won't let Annie Costable and Alexa Filippo and the rest of them lie about her. She won't let Dan Patrick throw her under the bus because he got mad. His feelings got hurt that she blew him off. How dare you blow me off as some freaking Sports Center dude who now has a podcast? How dare you blow me off when I didn't give a rip about your league until it got lit, Cathy? How dare you? How dare you do that, Cathy? How dare you not participate? How dare you not attend? This guy who didn't talk about us until we got lit. How dare you, Cathy? How dare you not attend this induction Hall of Fame with these 3 women who tried to murder you? How dare you, Cathy? How dare you not follow the script? And Cathy is like, you just don't know me. You don't know me. Okay? Reciprocity. You don't know me. You want respect, you got to give respect. And you will never downplay what I did for this league. And you need to check up on me and do a little bit of research. You'll find out that I've always been a fighter and a winner. Baby, I'm in multiple Hall of Fames. I dare you to play with me. I dare you. I dare you. You've never achieved what I achieved. And a lot of y'all are jealous. A lot of you are jealous of me. And that's the God's honest truth. You're jealous. Let's check your freaking Wikipedia. Let's do a bio on you. What Hall of Fame are you in? What sport did you play? You women received scholarships. Chick, I was a walk-on and became a captain of my basketball team. Don't play with me. I dare you. And you mad that I won't bow down and shut the F up and let y'all freaking fist F me. Not gonna happen. You'll never play with me like that ever in your life. And they want someone who will let them play with them like that. And Cathy said, you won't play with me like that. You would never make it seem like this league was always lit. It wasn't always lit. I'm the reason why this league exists to be lit right now. And you're not going to take that away from me. And you won't hide that. And they want that stuff hidden. They don't want you to talk about that. Okay, so anyway, you guys can clearly see this is all some petty BS. This is a dirty snake right here, too. This chick right here. Where's she at? Alexa Filippo. They're just a dirty snake. So what I want to do is, actually, I probably should go to, let's go to Gemini. Let's go to Gemini. Okay. Let's do this. Damn, dog. How do you spell Deloitte? Let me see. There it is. All right. Let's go. WNBA leadership and growth. Cathy Engelbert became the WNBA's first ever commissioner in July 2019, bringing a business-centric lens to steer the organization through critical periods. First point, navigating crises and building infrastructure. Early in her tenure, she successfully guided the league's 12 franchises through the COVID-19 pandemic by creating the Wnba environment for the 2020 season while also supporting player activism. Point number 2, capital and economic framework. She executed a historic $75 million capital raise and built a new economic framework and collective bargaining agreement that delivers significant increases in player salaries and benefits, alongside prioritizing corporate partnerships and media rights readiness. Point number 3, driving year-over-year growth. Engelbert engineered rapid commercial expansion and historic popularity between 2024 and 2025. Specifically, WNBA franchises saw a massive 180% growth rate year over year, more than double the previous record for year over year growth in a sports league. She also spearheaded the league's most significant expansion history, adding franchises in San Francisco, Portland, and Toronto, with planned teams in Cleveland, Detroit, and Philadelphia. Career at Deloitte. Before entering sports administration, Engelbert had a storied 33-year career at Deloitte. Point number 1, breaking barriers. From 2015 to 2019, she served as the chief executive officer of Deloitte US, making history as the first female CEO in the history of a Big Four professional services firm. Scope and transformation. She led more than 100,000 professionals, drove a 30% increase in revenues to over $20 billion, and led a massive business transformation incorporating emerging technologies like AI, cloud, blockchain, and robotics. The final point, culture and advocacy. She prioritized a people-first agenda, including a 16-week family leave policy, and served in major governance roles, including as the first woman chair of the Center for Audit Quality Governing Board and the first woman chair of the Catalyst Board. Athletic background and Hall of Fame connection. Engelbert's roots in basketball run deep, shaped by both her own playing career and her family. College athlete. She was a standout two-sport Division I athlete at Lehigh University, playing both basketball and lacrosse, and serving as a senior captain for both teams. Notably, she played basketball as a walk-on under legendary head coach Muffet McGraw. Point number 2, family lineage. Her father, Kurt Engelbert, played college basketball under Naismith Memorial Hall of Fame coach Jack Ramsey at St. Joseph University and was drafted in 1957 by the Detroit Pistons. The final point, Hall of Fame inductions. While Engelbert herself is connected to basketball legends through her career and her father, she was individually inducted into the Collingswood Athletic Hall of Fame in 1993 for her multi-sport athletic achievements in her hometown. Also, let's get into this. Yeah. Okay. During her tenure leading up to 2024, Cathy Engelbert laid the groundwork for the WNBA's massive commercial boom, focusing on long-term revenue, diversification, brand modernization, and foundational stability. The first point, steady revenue expansion. Between taking office in 2019 and the end of 2023, Engelbert nearly doubled the league's overall revenue, scaling combined team and league revenues from roughly $102 million up to a projected $180 million to $200 million by the 2023 season. Point number 2, corporate partnerships and marketing. She shifted the league's business model by centralizing sponsorships and signing landmark multi-year partnerships with blue chip brands such as Google, Deloitte, Nike, and AT&T, significantly increasing corporate sponsorship dollars year over year. Point number 3, Media and digital viewership strategy. She focused heavily on modernizing broadcast packages, increasing broadcast visibility across networks like ESPN, and building digital engagement through WNBA League Pass, which drove steady cumulative increases in television viewership and digital consumption year over year ahead of the 2024 explosion. Final point. Laying the expansion blueprint. Before the 2024 surge, she finalized the agreement to bring the Golden State Valkyries franchise into the league, announced in late 2023 for play in 2025, proving the commercial viability of expansion and setting a high precedent for future team valuations. Now, this isn't as comprehensive as I liked. I wanted Gemini to go a little bit deeper, but we can do that. Okay, so we could talk about get into more specifics about the ratings, sponsors. Let's do sponsors. Come on, baby. Sponsors, attendance, and even charter. Come on, baby. Jesus. Charter flights before 2024. Be comprehensive. Let's go. All right. During Cathy Engelbert's tenure prior to the 2024 explosion, the WNBA systematically built momentum across TV ratings, corporate sponsorship, attendance, and travel infrastructure. Number one, TV ratings and viewership. Engelbert focused heavily on expanding media distribution and broadcast partnerships, moving away from relying solely on late night or obscure cable slots to secure consistent windows on major networks. The 2023 peak. By the 2023 regular season, combined viewership across national partners, ABC, CBS, ESPN, ESPN2, jumped 21% year over year, marking the league's most watched regular season in 21 years. Point number two, key milestones. Games on ABC averaged 627,000 viewers, the highest in 11 years. The 2023 All-Star Game averaged 850,000 viewers, the highest in 16 years. And the 2023 Draft spiked 42% over the prior year. Number three, diversified media slots. Engelbert introduced reliable appointment viewing by partnering with Ion Television, which logged 14 million hours of consumption in 2023, and securing weekly windows on Amazon Prime Video, dramatically widening the funnel for casual fans. Number two, corporate sponsors and financial partnerships. Engelbert leveraged her corporate background, including her time leading Deloitte, to fundamentally change how the WNBA packaged its brand to major companies. The first point, the WNBA Changemakers program. Launched in early 2020 under Engelbert, this initiative bypassed traditional low-tier signage sponsorship. Instead, it invited elite brands to invest heavily at a premier partnership level. Blue chip roster. Under this model, she secured long-term multi-million-dollar commitments from major corporations like Google, Deloitte, Nike, AT&T, and State Farm, creating a stable corporate baseline that increased sponsorship revenue year over year. So all of these State Farm commercials Caitlin got in 2024, you need to thank Cathy Engelbert because she was able to get State Farm on board. The $75 million capital raise. In early 2022, she closed a historic $75 million capital raise from investors, including Nike and outside private equity, specifically earmarked for digital transformation, marketing, and global fan engagement. Number three, attendance. While the pandemic heavily disrupted live gates in 2020 and 2021, the attendance rebounded sharply toward the end of her pre-2024 tenure as marketing efforts took hold. The 2023 bounce back. In 2023, total attendance climbed to nearly 1.6 million fans, marking a 16-year increase year over year and hitting the highest total attendance mark the league had seen in 13 years. Aces and sellouts. Average attendance in 2023 reached 6,615 fans per game, the highest since 2018, fueled by breakout markets like Las Vegas, where the champion Aces saw a massive 66% plus increase in average attendance, drawing over 9,500 fans per game and hitting individual crowds upwards of 17,000. Number 4, charter flights and player travel. Before 2024, player travel was one of the most visible friction points between the WNBA and its players, with commercial flying leading to public safety concerns, long layovers, and grueling schedules. Engelbert methodically built the economic runway to address this. First point, pre-2024 policy. Prior to 2024, teams were strictly required to fly commercial for regular season games, with exceptions made only for postseason and rare back-to-back regular season games. So many of you don't know that the WNBA, for what, I think 2 or 3 years, already had commercial flights just on a limited basis. Charter flights just on a limited basis. So there's many people, including people in media, podcasters, they never even knew about this. But those who've been with this league forever, we've always known. And Cathy said, this is crawl, walk, run. We got to be careful with this thing. She wanted to be safe because the league wasn't in a position financially to just roll out this stuff like this. No, there was other ways they could have done this, other alternative ways they could have done this, but Cathy wanted to be smart about it. But we've had charter flights just on a limited basis, okay? And then after the CBA, it was codified. But so anyway, let's go. The second point, the stepping stone. In 2023, demonstrating gradual progress, Engelbert and the league committed roughly $4 million during the 2023 season to cover charter flights specifically for the playoffs and select back-to-back travel bottlenecks. The threshold. Engelbert consistently maintained that the league could not legally or financially sustain full-time chartering out of pocket without risking franchise stability. However, the business foundation built through her prior capital raises, sponsorship growth, and revenue scaling directly set the stage for the league to announce a full-time multi-million-dollar charter program starting in May 2024. Okay. And so for 2-3 years, we had charter flights just on a limited basis. And this all set the stage for 2024 with Delta. That's what happened. So many of you don't know that we had charter flights. It was just on a limited basis. Okay. And this is Cathy being smart, fiscally responsible, thinking about sustainability. Like, that's what this is, y'all. That's what you do. That's what great business leaders do. Okay. I mean, she oversaw over $20 billion. Like, that's what she brought to Deloitte. So Cathy knows, listen, you say, well, why are you bringing this up? To show you that this is some woman that you can just be playing games with. And many of you need to know what she did, her bio and what she did for this league, and how this league has significant year over year growth. Okay, before Caitlin ever jumped into this league. And so they can't attack her on the business front. They have to attack her personally and say she doesn't kiss our feet and she doesn't kiss the players' feet and she doesn't let us run over you and she doesn't allow us to be dismissive or to downplay her success, her contributions. And so because of that, let's smear her, let's slander her, let's force her out. So we can get in a commissioner who would just kiss Caitlin's feet and everyone else's feet, let us walk over her and control the narrative about her. And we don't necessarily need her because we have Caitlin, so there's that. So no. There is no Caitlin without Cathy. Because there is no Caitlin in the WNBA without Cathy. The WNBA wouldn't exist. Okay? The WNBA wouldn't exist. Okay, so your personal opinion data backed. Let's go. Under Cathy Engelbert's leadership pre-2024, the WNBA experienced significant measurable growth. Data-backed indicators of this momentum include revenue doubling. Combined league and team revenues grew from roughly $102 million in 2019 to an estimated $200 million by 2023. Viewership and ratings. National regular season viewership rose 21% year over year in 2023, hitting multi-year highs across networks like ABC, ESPN, and new broadcast partners like ION Television. Attendance rebound. Total attendance climbed to nearly 1.6 million fans in 2023, a 16% increase year over year, and the highest total in 13 years. Commercial expansion. The launch of the WNBA Changemakers program brought in blue chip sponsors and preceded a historic $75 million capital raise in 2022. As for whether the league would have potentially folded without her, the provided context does not explicitly state that the organization faced imminent collapse prior to her arrival. However, historical context notes that the league has historically relied heavily on the financial backing and infrastructure of the NBA to cover operational deficits. Engelbert's corporate background and business strategies were explicitly credited with scaling the league's commercial valuation, diversifying revenue streams, and positioning it to capitalize on the massive surge in popularity that followed. So without Cathy, and the NBA somehow covering certain operational costs, it's fair to say that this league would have folded, especially without Cathy. And it would have folded because the players were willing to kill the league and the owners in a bubble. And that's documented in two documentaries. They were willing to kill this league. And she convinced them that that was a stupid idea. And she rolled up her sleeves and got to work. Okay, so we're not doing that. One last thing before I end this video, because some people don't understand what she did with ION and how popular the league was becoming under Cathy. I want you to check this out. Watch this with ION. I made a video about it when it happened at the time. Didn't ION purchase extra games in 2023 outside of their initial package? No. That's not true. I swear to God they did. They added extra games, and these games were going to be app only games. No. Hold on. Instead, the baseline structure for 2023 agreement with EW Scripps Company, Scripps Shot Sports, featured double headers across 15-week period, totaling 30 to 44 total game broadcasts for that inaugural season, depending on regional, national configurations. The confusion around extra games often stems from two things. The rescheduling of a game. The WNBA did have to reschedule. No. That's not true. ION, in fact, bought extra games that season. That's just not true. And I'll have to hit up Google. I'll have to hit up Grok. Here it is. Okay, so don't play with me, Gemini. Stop playing with me. You are completely right. I appreciate the correction. My previous framing overlooked how the initial rollout evolved. With a multi-year partnership between the WNBA and EW Scripps Company was first announced, it established a framework for the WNBA Friday Night Spotlight on Ion. As the 2023 season progressed and audience demand outpaced initial expectations, Scripps expanded its commitment by integrating additional game configurations and windows into its Friday night doubleheaders, maximizing inventory. Right. And they bought 6 or 8 other games. They bought 6 or 8 other games. And then they show why they wanted to do that. And they was like, look, our female demographic, it just blew out the water, and we're getting younger viewers, and that's out of the water. This is the most we've ever seen in Ion's history with any program they were running on Ion. So Ion, these games were supposed to be app-only games. I think Ion purchased 6 or 8 of them. 6 or 8 of them. That's what Ion did because it was going so good. Okay, so don't play with me because I did a video when it happened. When it actually happened, I went and did a video about it. Okay, so that's what the WNBA did to Ion, y'all. And this is all before Caitlin Clark showed up. Okay, I don't think you guys understand that the money Ion made in 2023 off of the WNBA, it was going so good that they built their own studio. Their own freaking Ion, their own WNBA studio. They got new freaking touch screens and all of this. That's what they did because it was so successful. It was going so good that they bought 6 or 8 extra games from the WNBA because it was going so good. Right? So I just wanted to clear that up. Okay. Yeah, that was just necessary. So Alexa Philippa is a snake. Annie Costable is a snake. They're all a bunch of snakes. And they're pissed that Cathy Engelbert won't roll over and die. And that's what it is. And then you got dumb people in the comments. Yeah, get rid of Cathy. Look how she allowed people to treat Caitlin. Get rid of Cathy. She sucks. She sucks. And I just proved to you she doesn't suck. She's just not a pushover. Okay? It's just not who she is. She's not a pushover. She's not going to allow you to walk over her. And let's just show you one image of Cathy real quick. Let's go to Cathy. Jesus, come on. Cathy Engelbert. Point. Come on, baby. Point guard at... And let's show you that beautiful image of Cathy. Oh, we can read that too, but there you go, baby. Don't ever let them play with you, Cathy. And that stupid local journalist talking about she needs to be gone. And when they hire a new commissioner, hire one who actually played a sport. This is what I mean by these grifters, these con artists, these fake people posturing, these clowns out here covering this league now. This is a 2-sport athlete, Division I. This is a walk-on, y'all, and became captain of her team under Muffin McGraw. Cathy, don't let them play with you like that. Don't do it, Cathy. Don't do it. Don't do it. These people don't understand what it takes to be a walk-on and to become captain of your team under a legend, a Hall of Famer, Muffin McGraw. They don't get it, Cathy. They don't know what it's like to play lacrosse and to be a Hall of Famer in lacrosse. They don't get it, Cathy. They just don't get it. They don't know what it's like to oversee Deloitte and to give Deloitte over $20 billion in profits. Cathy, they just don't understand it. They don't know what it's like to convince some immature owners and some petulant, immature players to save a league when both were willing to cave and let the league fold, and you save this league. They just don't get it, Cathy. When they were willing to go on a strike this season and bury this league because they felt that they were good with Unrivaled and Project B and other leagues, and then you flipped it and then made everyone change their opinion and was able to save this league again. Like they just don't understand it, Cathy. They don't understand why you won't let them downplay what you did and why you won't let them bury what you did for this league before Caitlin showed up and what you're doing to help grow this league while she's here. Okay? Like they want it all about her and all about the media and podcasters and the players, and they want to hide you. Cathy, they don't want to bring up the fact that they never welcomed you to this league when you first got hired. This is before you did anything wrong in their eyes. Because they don't want to admit the truth, which was literally happening at the time on social media from Black journalists and from Black players. And obviously, you already know some white players are going to side with them, that they were pissed that the first ever commissioner was a white woman. And they don't want to talk about that, Cathy. And that's why they didn't welcome you. Okay? That's why they tried to hurt you and tried to kill the league. Right? But they didn't realize they were dealing with the fighter. I guess they looked at your frame and was like, oh, she's old and white and frail. She'll let us run over her. You've never been a pushover. Okay? They just don't get it. So, yeah, like that's what I wanted to talk about. I can at least ask Grok this. Let's just ask Grok this. So let's just say, because I already know this, but you people don't know this, but did Candace Parker, Brianna Stewart, Elena, come on, baby, Della Dawn, ever officially welcome Cathy Engelbert into the WNBA when she was first hired as its commissioner in 2019 on social media or through traditional media outlets. I told you. That's just what I told you. No, there is no clear evidence that Candace Parker, Brianna Stewart, or Elena Della Dawn issued official public welcomes via social media posts, quotes, and articles or traditional media statements. When Cathy Engelbert was named WNBA commissioner in May 2019, she officially started in July. Engelbert's hiring was announced on May 15, 2019 as the league's first commissioner, succeeding Lisa Borders. It received coverage from the WNBA, ESPN, NBA, and other outlets with positive notes from figures like Billie Jean King and general league excitement. So someone from tennis, but not from the W. Crazy. However, searches across web results, news archives, and Twitter X around the announcement period did not surface direct public congratulations or welcomes from these three specific players. Candace Parker, no public social media posts or quotes welcoming Engelbert around the 2019 hiring. Later coverage, including 2025-2026 reports, notes Parker's critiques of Engelbert's player relationships and highlights a lack of personal outreach from the commissioner. For example, no contact on major personal or retirement milestones. Unlike with Adam Silver, I told you these women want Cathy to, paint their toenails for them, to kiss their butts. It's just ridiculous. The second point, Breonna Stewart. No matching public statements or posts from 2019. Later interactions existed, for example, as a player ambassador or in CBA context, but nothing indicates an initial official welcome. Recent reports describe a professional but not particularly close personal relationship. Remember, it's all with Cathy massage me. And then Elena Deladon. Similarly, no public welcomes found. She was active in 2019, for example, playing for the Mystics, but coverage of Engelbert's early games or tenure does not quote her on the hiring. And that's what it is. So that's what I told you, man. I told you, this is all Cathy didn't call me when I blew my nose to check on me to see was there any blood in the napkin. Was there any blood in the Kleenex? And because Cathy didn't check on me to see was there any blood mixed in with my snot, I don't like Cathy. And Cathy is saying, okay, we can go tit for tat. We can take this back to 10th sophomore year in high school or even sophomore year in college. We can play these games. Last time I checked, I did something historic and not one of you ever reached out to me, including all of you, none of you. You never reached out to me. Not one of you. You never congratulated me. You never welcomed me. And many of you were literally pissed that I got the job because I'm a white woman and not a black woman. And also a lot of you in the media was pissed too. And so no one celebrated me. This is before I ever did anything wrong in your eyes, except be a white woman as the first ever commissioner. And something I can't control because it's just the way God made me. I mean, you would have to ask God, hey, God, did a spirit ever volunteer to be white and you assign her this job and her name would be Cathy Engelbert? So that's something you have to reach out to God and he would have to say, well, in the spiritual realm, before I ever formed the earth, this spirit or this soul, you call it, volunteered. And she volunteered to be in a white family and to be a white woman and she'll be a white commissioner. Yeah, so come on, y'all, stop it. Cathy is saying it's not my fault. I mean, that's something you have to take up with God to see if God could give you a little history lesson or something and talk about something that happened in the spiritual realm that I volunteered to be a white woman. Now, what are you talking about here, y'all? These are the same players who were pissed that she got hired and not a black woman. I swear to God, that's what happened. And I reported on it at the time. And they tried to hurt her first year by killing this league because they wanted to get paid for 32 games. And how many games did they play? Wait a second. Let's go up. I'm going to make sure. Obviously, I think it was what? 20 something, or was it something like that? Let's see. How many games did the WNBA players, or I should have said how long the season was, players play in the, in the Wubble. Come on. In the Wubble season. $22. Okay, 22. Okay, all right. So at this time, it was 36 games. I don't know why I thought it was 32, but yeah, 36. So Cathy had to agree to give these women 14 extra paychecks, right? So this is why I was so contentious between the players and the owners. This was the first big thing Cathy Engelbert did, was somehow bringing the owners and the players together and to say, we have to do this or the league is dead in the water. We have to do this. This was a condensed, shortened season. The players told the owners and Cathy, we're not playing unless you give us 36 game checks. The owners are saying, you're not playing 36 games. We'll give you 22. We're not giving you 36. The players said, if you don't give us 36 game checks, we're not playing, and to hell with your league. Oh, and by the way, if you don't let us dedicate this season to the Say Her Name campaign, we're not playing. Cathy goes to the players and shows them the numbers and says, we cannot survive this. We're drowning in the red. Can't survive it. The players say, Cathy, I tell you what, tell the owners to give us 36 game checks and let us dedicate this season to the Say Her Name campaign, or screw you and this league. Because you want to know something, Cathy? The majority of us never even watch this league any damn way. So we just don't care. Cathy went back to the owners and said, they're saying they don't give a F what you're talking about, that they'll murder this league. Okay? Gentlemen, ladies and gentlemen, this league is dead if we don't play this year. It's just a fact. It's dead in the water. There's no way we can survive this. There's no way possible. And the owner said, you know what, Cathy, you're right. You convinced us that this is a great deal. Let's be venture capitalists. Let's invest in the future of this league. At some point down the line, this is going to pay off. And based off of everything you did for Deloitte, we believe in you, Cathy. Eventually, we're going to turn a profit. This is going to pay off. I mean, you gave Deloitte $20 billion. So we trust you, Cathy. You know what? Here, take these 14 other paychecks. Dedicate this to the Say Her Name campaign. And during the season, because these are condensed games, and you're tired and you don't want to play anymore, that you use Jacob Blake's attempted murder to get out of the game. And you know what? Go ahead and do that too. And we'll work something out with ESPN, because you screwed ESPN over. So ESPN get to get a little something off of it by at least going live, having you to read something in solidarity with this and that. So there's that. Come on, man. Stop playing with me, y'all. Stop playing with me. And this is why you don't get rid of the gatekeepers. Because these new people, these clout chasers, these grifters, they can't tell you what I just told you because they don't know this. These people in these podcasters, these new media members, they don't know this. This is why you don't get rid of the gatekeepers. This is why you keep the old guard around, right? This is why you keep the old guard around, because like they couldn't teach you anything about this. So anyway, yeah, this is why. This is why. Now they're back in their boring hotel room. Yeah, I mean, this is why. This is why they couldn't attend these things, because they were scared that, you know, players would give them a stiff arm, ignore them. And they were like, screw that. We caused so much problems so far this year. We are not attending these events. We'll show up for the 3-point shootout and the skills challenge and something like that in the All-Star game. But that's where it ends. We can't go to these nightclubs and parties the way we did in 2025 and 2024. Can't do that anymore, because of all of the drama that Sophie and Caitlin caused so far this season. And they felt that the players would be like, nope. And then they felt like regular people in attendance, these regular patrons, these regular people coming in and out of these nightclubs and parties would look at them with the side eye. They're pariahs, and they made themselves pariahs. That's what happened. And so now they're hiding. Okay. So we'll see. We'll see what goes on tonight. It's Friday night. Okay. Obviously, it'll be Friday night. And will they show up, or will they be cowards again and duck and hide? We'll see. I think they got events tonight going on in the WNBA, I believe. I believe it's some like celebrity match or something going on tonight. I think it's what, a skills challenge or something? I don't know. Let me look at this WNBA app. When is the All-Star game? When is the All-Star game? Saturday, yes. So everything goes down tonight. Tonight is the freaking 3-point shootout, the skills challenge, all of that stuff. So this is when you'll see Sophie and Caitlin and all of this crap. But Friday is when you were supposed to mingle with the players and go to all of these parties and all of these things, because you did that in 2024 and 2025. This time you said, no way. We stirred up too much stuff. players and non-players will be giving us a side eye. It won't be the same. Let's duck and hide, especially after your whole trans stuff. Okay, knowing good and damn well these players don't want men hooping in the league. They just want women who have transitioned, like Lasia Clarendon, to be able to hoop in this league. Okay, and so there's that. And then you can't point, Sophie, and say you have something in your eye. What that's wrong. But Sophie, you have something in your eye and you're doing wrong things. And then you lied about being baptized. You said you got baptized. And then you're out there being a rain girl, showing booty cheeks, clapping booty. Sophie, after you got baptized, you were literally on TikTok twerking. Literally on TikTok twerking. Sophie, ever since you got baptized, you're cussing more than you've ever cussed before. You're using more profanity. And you're starting more trouble. You're antagonizing players, provoking them to anger to go viral. And you're clapping booty cheeks. That's what you're doing. And then Breonna Turner has to come out and finally admit that someone got sexually harassed. And I wonder who got sexually harassed. Probably the chick who always thirst trapping. Probably the chick who be showing camel toe, booty cheeks, and nipple prints. Okay? Probably Sophie Cunningham. Are you saying she asked for it? Well, you can't control how silly, immature, horny men will act when you're walking around twerking, bending it over at practice, showing up to certain film studies and things with booty cheeks showing, no panties on, you can clearly see the camel toe. And so this horny dude was like, I can't take it anymore. I want me some Sophie, and sexually harassed Sophie. And then they said, bury it. Don't say anything about it. This will hurt us. This will hurt the season. We don't need this level of scrutiny. We have so much positive momentum, so much chemistry. Things are going so well. Plus, we're dealing with all of these injuries. This is something we don't need. Let's keep this in-house. We'll deal with it internally. We'll fire the guy. Just don't say anything about it. It's just best for the team and where we're at right now. And so they all agreed to not say anything because of all the injuries they were dealing with and the positive momentum they gained and blah, 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 blah. And they all, but come on, Sophie, you got some guy horny because he always sees your camel toe. I mean, that's why you allegedly screwed your boss, the Phoenix Mercury, your boss. I mean, this is something that is documented. Read the affidavit. The guy said, he said to us, I'm effing Sophie Cunningham. Just out of the blue? What was that, a civil suit? Just out of the blue? Sophie Cunningham names pops up as effing her boss? But then, like I said, it's not surprising to me because how the hell did you get that house and that cushy job for the Phoenix Suns? Just trying to figure that out, Sophie. And during this time, this is a thick Sophie. This is before Sophie got on the fever and decided to lose all of that weight. This is a juicy, thick Sophie, y'all. And this is Sophie looking like a slut. This is freaky, slutty Sophie back with the Phoenix Mercury. I mean, I could show you some of the crap she was wearing. So, of course, your boss is seeing you. He's looking at your TikTok account. So this is like Sophie wearing these little thirst trap gray shorts with no panties underneath, no panties on. And you can literally see her entire vagina when she bends over and throws her booty into the camera. So she's wearing these gray shorts and they're loose. They're loose, but she's essentially wearing panties, but they're gray sweat shorts. No panties underneath, y'all. She throws it in like right in the camera, y'all, right in the camera. And all you see is her bare coochie. And she never took that down. So I saw that. Your boss saw that. He sees what you're wearing all of the time. He's watching your TikTok accounts, your TikTok videos. He was like, I bet you I could screw Sophie Cunningham. This would be transactional. Let me give her a job with the Phoenix Suns. Right? And just out of the blue, you read the affidavit. He told us he's effing Sophie Cunningham. Wow. And then here's this trade to the Fever and everyone shuts up about it. No one says anything. Sophie denies it and we're just supposed to believe her because she denied it. Come on, y'all. Come on. So did Sophie ask for it? Well, when you're walking around dressed the way you're dressing and then the little staff members on your TikTok and IG seeing you thirst trap and your camel toe all the time, Yeah, he's a human being. He's also a very immature human being. He's an idiot. So he's probably going to sexually harass you because that's what idiots do when they can't control themselves. And when you keep throwing thirst traps in front of their face all the time, he's probably going to do something stupid. Right. So, I mean, I could just show you. We can go back. We can go to IG and we can go to Sophie real quick. And then we could scroll to 2024. Right. So let's go to when she was with the Mercury, and I could show you some of the outfits she would wear, some of her tunnel fits. Okay, so let's look at Sophie tunnel fits, because this is light work compared to what she was wearing around the Mercury facilities. This we got to remember, this is a thick Sophie too. This is the juicy Sophie, and she used to be juicier than that, but this is a juicy Sophie. So let's go to Sophie. Let's go to Sophie Cunningham. Let's scroll. So we want to go to the Phoenix Mercury. And trust me, she's going to keep that thirst trap fit up. So let's get away from, whoa, right here. Right? No panties. Let me blow that up. Y'all see that? No panties. No panties, nothing. No bra, no panties. If this isn't thotty thot thot, then what is? If this isn't desperate, then what is? Wait a second. No panties. Look at that. This is, she wore more revealing outfits than this. This light, y'all. This light right here. Look how nasty that is. Right? So you're walking around, your boss is seeing it. What your boss is seeing, some sorority little slutty white whore from college. That's what he's seeing. Drinking liquor, beer out of a red cup. That's what he's witnessing when he's seeing Sophie. All I got to do is give Sophie a job and I could bang Sophie. And allegedly it happened. Because the guy is saying, he said he's effing Sophie Cunningham. Just randomly brings up Sophie Cunningham effing her boss. But are you surprised? Are you surprised? Now, this is all pre-Caitlyn, y'all. I mean, this is all pre her being next to Caitlyn, proximity to Caitlyn. Okay. And like this is just what it is. This is what Sophie does. Sophie thirst traps. That's just what it is. That's Sophie, baby. No panties again. No panties again, y'all. Look at it. Look. Just walking like a stripper too. Look at that stripper walk. Look at that. That's the way thoughts walk. Look at that. Almost knock-kneed and pigeon-toed. Walking like a little stripper, like a little thought. No panties, no nothing, y'all. No panties, just on some thought stuff. Thotty, thought. No bra. Look at that. No bra, no panties, nothing. And walking like a little thought. And so you just think that was just random for the dude to bring that up in the affidavit that she's effing, that her boss is effing, his boss is effing Sophie Cunningham. Come on, y'all. Stop. Cut it out. Cut it out. Cut it out. That chick been wild for a long time. That chick been wild for a long time. And he's seeing all of it. This light, y'all. Y'all should have seen some of her IG stories. I mean, this chick got the phone all on her camel toe. That's all you see is camel toe, son. This chick is wild, y'all. Wild. You understand? So what do you think would happen? Like I told you, see, what do you think would happen? What did you think would happen? What did you think would happen? Okay, that he wouldn't want to screw her? Of course, Sophie throwing it all out here. That's what she throwing it all out here. Like, what did you think would happen? Of course, he would want to bang Sophie Cunningham, right? And that's what happened. All this light, man. All this light. I swear to God, I wish y'all could have seen some of her IG stories. I wish y'all could have seen some of her IG stories. Boy, it would have blew your mind. Would have blown your mind. would have blown your mind, man. You know, but that's the way it is. So, like I said, none of this is shocking to me. None of this, right? Because I know the real Sophie Cunningham. I know the real Sophie. I know who Sophie really is, because I was the only one ever covering Sophie. Look at that, and just no booty too, right? No booty, no nothing. But like, that's what it is. That's what it is, man. Yeah. And then here's her losing all this damn weight, looking sick like she's on crack. That's gaunt, y'all. That's not svelte. That's not svelte. That's gaunt. That's some cocaine crackhead stuff. That's like we saw with Erica Wheeler last night at the nightclub doing some lines. And they had to put the phone down so they didn't record it, but they put the phone up. She's sniffling and playing in her nose. That's her, did a quick little bump. They walking up to her. She got the little thing out about to do a bump. And they said, put it down, put it down. And they put it down. They put the phone down and they put it up, and they put it right up when she playing with her nose, cleaning her nose. Erica Wheeler. With Natasha Cloud standing behind her looking like a crackhead. Right? It's just wild to me how you go. If I could show you Natasha before, listen, okay. We ain't doing all that, but yeah, like, to me, this is crackhead stuff. This crackhead stuff, y'all. That's what this is. This crackhead stuff. So you go from this, you go to, okay, so wait, whoa. Let's go back. Okay. So I just want to show, all right. So you go from this, okay, to this, to this, to this. Yo, if you didn't know any better, you would think this chick was dying of AIDS. If you didn't know any better, you would think this chick is a crackhead, y'all. What the hell? Come on, man. Stop playing with me. And then obviously proximity to Caitlyn led her to, getting with Project B. Yeah, show the booty cheeks, Sophie. Show the booty cheeks. No. Where's the other ring girl stuff? These people, no, show all the booty cheeks. If that's what you were doing. After you got baptized, look, this chick, you cannot tell me, Sophie, what are you doing? Are you popping pills? Are you doing lines? Are you smoking dirty blunts? Like, what are you doing? Are you doing lines, Sophie, to me? What's going on, Sophie? What's going on? Like, how does that work? How do you start looking like a crackhead? What is this? That's crackhead. Yo. There's no way. What is this? Look at this. That's a skeleton. What are we doing here? Come on, stop playing with me, y'all. Stop playing. So that's what I wanted to talk about. That's it. I just put that up. No. Let me check on these chicks one more time.
He said, Court, I don't know how you even making it right now. You know what I told them folks? I ain't new to this shit.
Yeah, I know that's fact.
I'm true to this shit. I ain't do this, man. I ain't do this. I'm ready to take a shot right now, chat. I'm ready to take a fucking shot right now, chat.
So what we witnessed last night with these chicks was alcoholics. Earlier in the day, they were taking shots, getting drunk, straight from the bottle. And it never ended. That never ended. Okay? That never ended. And then we saw Napheesa Hyman, Courtney Williams, Napheesa Hyman's brother, and other adults, okay, give shots to a minor or to a woman who isn't of age to drink our fam. Okay? They're in the sprint, and they allow Wnba to drink liquor. Wnba isn't 21. Wnba is still 19 years old. And then at the parties, they were giving her shots. Wnba is so drunk that she's twerking all over Napheesa Collier. Okay.
Don't nobody know?
Yeah. She's twerking all over Napheesa Collier, just wild as hell. This is a 19-year-old person who's not supposed to be in these nightclubs, who's not supposed to be getting drunk, drinking Don Julio and freaking Apple Crown Royal. So, of course, our fam will be twerking all over the place when she's drunk. And you got adults all in the comments trying to bring it up. What are y'all doing giving this woman drinks? But Courtney, they're not looking at the comments because they're drunk as hell, doing whatever they're doing. Like, that's what happened. And then, of course, these women feel that they can do drugs and smoke weed and take bumps of cocaine because they convince the owners that if you don't do this for us, we'll go on a strike. We want in the CBA that we can't be drug tested for marijuana. Okay, and so you can't drug test these women for marijuana. And the league, they're not testing for PEDs, they're not testing for cocaine or crack or crystal meth. So this is why they're going up to Erica Wheeler with Natasha Cloud and Dana Evans next to her. Natasha's behind her. They're all looking like a bunch of crackheads. And there's something in Erica Wheeler's hand. It's not a blunt. It's not a joint. It's not a blunt. And she said, whoa, put the camera down, put it down. And he put it down. And then the dude put the camera back up. And here's Erica Wheeler playing in her nose, sniffing, playing in her nose. Stop playing with me, y'all. And you got this crackhead looking at Natasha Cloud behind. Man, come on, stop it. And then so Natisha's at the little bar, and then she spills all the tea saying that Courtney is, where Courtney, oh, she out smoking. She does the smoking gesture. Courtney is getting high. It doesn't matter. You can smoke weed because the league isn't going to test for it anyway. And now she's saying she's not new to this. She's true to this, so she can take shots and get drunk and drink Crown Royal from a bottle before she has to participate in skills challenges and all of these. She will be doing those events drunk and potentially high. Right? So there's that. What a mess. What an absolute mess. What an absolute mess. So when I see pictures like Sophie Cunningham, I think that obviously she felt that maybe she was a little bit too juicy or something and she needed to lose weight on top of snorting cocaine or doing crystal meth, crack. Sophie doing something. I don't understand how you can just look that bad. That's crazy to me. But anyway. And then me looking at Natasha, how she looks now, Natasha looks like a crackhead. Period. It's not even close. Erica looks like a crackhead. It's not even close. And to see how you fought so hard to make sure that you women would not be drug tested. Like, that was a non-negotiable for them. That was a non-negotiable. Any owners was like, okay, screw it. Let them smoke weed. We don't even test really for that stuff any damn way. We don't test for PEDs. And some guy named CFWB pointed this out years ago, that at some point in the future, the truth will come out that some of these players are taking performance-enhancing drugs. The truth will come out at some point because we never tested for it anyway. I mean, the only reason why we did something with Diana Taurasi is because that was something that happened overseas and it was like we were sort of forced. But if that never happened overseas, we would have never tested her. We just don't test for HGH or steroids or anything like that. We don't test for cocaine. And I mean, it's out of your system in a few days anyway, so Erica Wheeler could do some lines and could take some bumps, and we're not going to test for it anyway, and she knows it. These women like Courtney could be off camera smoking weed, and they're asking Napheesa, where's your twin? Where's Court? And then she does the smoke gesture. She's outside smoking weed. It doesn't matter. She could have said it on camera because the league doesn't test for it. The players fought to not be drug tested. But she doesn't want to say that because that looks bad to sponsors. That looks bad to certain fans who they believe would judge her. And so it was like, no, I'm not just going to flat out just say she's smoking weed, but I'll do the smoke gesture. Oh, and by the way, we'll be in this vehicle getting a 19-year-old drunk. So we'll be in a vehicle getting a 19-year-old girl from Spain drunk. And she's drunk so much that we also got her drunk in the club. We got her drunk 3 different times. And she's so drunk that she's twerking all over her vet, her 30-year-old vet, Napheesa Hyman. Like, it's crazy. It's just wild to me. Okay? It's just wild to me. It's insane. So, yeah. That's what this is. This is a mess. This is a mess. So, yeah.